Invader, this is for the invader. Invader, send home the invader. All praises to the Most High. All praises to the Most High. All praises to the Most High. Give them all praises. Give them all praises. Where the fuck am I going? Who the hell could I be? All this time I've been lost. Vessel trapped in the sea. Chains holding my legs. I just want to be free. Fist picking my fro. Hell yeah, and they know it. Heritage keep going. You can see it in my phenotypes and that damn Indian showing. This knowledge keeping me steady. 45 on my hip and my armor man stay ready. I hit the streets in my Chevy. Blunt burn, smell smoking heavy. Man, here you go, I got plenty. Prayers up for a sinning. In the land I lost many. Cause every nigga ain't friendly. And every man ain't willing. No D-bows but Stanley. No heroes for my family. Why the pigs killing us daily. Invader, this is for the invader. Invader, send home the invader. All praises to the Most High. All praises to the Most High. All praises to the Most High. Give them all praises. Give them all praises. Invader, this is for the invader. Invader, send home the invader. All praises to the Most High. All praises to the Most High. All praises to the Most High. Give them all praises. Give them all praises. Where the fuck do you come from? Kidnapping our babies. 11 million abortions. Whole country is scorching. Natives stealing my portion. Bitch, give me my land back. We ain't signed no contracts. Why you wasting all of our trust funds? We don't know who your dad is, but we know who your kinfolk. Take the food off of my plate. Eat that shit with my folk. You invader. You motherfucking invader. Invader. This is for the invader. Invader, send home the invader. All praises to the Most High. All praises to the Most High. All praises to the Most High. Give them all praises. Give them all praises. Invader, this is for the invader. Invader, send home the invader. All praises to the Most High. All praises to the Most High. All praises to the Most High. Give them all praises. Give them all praises. Hey ya, 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 hey ya. All praises to the Most High. All praises to the Most High. All praises to the Most High. Give them all praises. Give them all praises. Invader, this is for the invader. Invader, send home the invader. Invader, this is for the invader. Invader, send home the invader. Invader, this is for the invader. Invader, send home the invader. All praises to the Most High. All praises to the Most High. All praises to the Most High. Give them all praises. Give them all praises. Hey ya, 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 hey ya. Hey ya, 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 hey ya.
Get NFL Sunday Ticket and YouTube TV to watch a
Open up the heavens, let the sunshine in. The Ducateers and Empress about to begin. Giving love to all the ancestors that's tuning in. Here comes the Ducateers with some more offering.
Going out to the all-men, Montauk, Shinnecock, Chickasaw, Choctaw, Washita, Blackfoot, Abenaki, Seminole, Muskogee. You know me, the homie is OG. Coming to restore the crown of the all-men, Montauk, Shinnecock, Chickasaw, Choctaw, Washita, Blackfoot, Abenaki, Seminole, Muskogee. You know me, the homie is OG. Coming to restore the crown of the whole.
Swooping through like an eagle, more like a stinging bee. Ancestors is left, right, in front me. I'm all that vid dynasty, live inside me. Moon goddess is birth, she worth, native, made for greatness. Now wild, with natural style, Dancer under the moon, knock through the pearly gates. Escape from Spain to Panama. We still ahead of y'all. Never pacing to the top of the dome. We stand tall, y'all. Never lazy to walk, clap, slap back. For all the more talking shit in the cock, never stop. A little petite, but never retreat. 10K is doggone tall, y'all. Chopper riding, we awake, very deep streaming. ET beaming, blood chop, lightsaber walker, wolf talker, never stop.
To the Olmec, Montauk, Shinnecock, Chickasaw, Choctaw, Washita, Blackfoot, Abenaki, Seminole, Muskogee. You know me, the whole me is OG, coming to restore the crown of the Olmec. Montauk, Shinnecock, Washita, Blackfoot, Abenaki, Seminole, Muskogee. You know me, the whole me is OG, coming to restore the crown of the tomahawk chop, an entire city block. Big Buffalo people coming back to wreck shop. Hip hop, out and pop, can't stop the rebirth for raw. Indigenous rock with the native chant. Christ war dance, at a glance. Anyone who glance at the Shechem war dance. Chief Seven Feather Owl, the Moorish Cola powers. Make all these 14th Amendment rappers throw in the towel. Square, compass, and travel. These masons taking oaths, disrespecting ancestors, selling their souls to ghosts. I raise my glass, make a toast to Aboriginal hosts, traveling through the cosmos. That's most, meaning that's on top. My wounded knee bandaged up. Black Hawk, what's up? Geronimo skull. We taking it back from the tomb of the bones when we coming in the rooms and resume like Olmec, Montauk, Shinnecock, Chickasaw, Choctaw, Washita, Blackfoot, Abenaki, Seminole, Muskogee. You know me, the whole me is OG, coming to restore the crown of the Olmec, Montauk, Shinnecock, Chickasaw, Choctaw, Washita, Blackfoot, Abenaki, Seminole, Muskogee. You know me, the whole me is OG, coming to restore the crown of the
Open
OG.
up the heavens, let the sunshine in. The Duke of Tears and Empress about to begin. Giving love to all the ancestors that's tuning in. Here comes the Duke of Tears with some more offering.
All right, y'all. Peace, 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 peace. Peace to the gods, peace to the goddesses, peace to Aborigines, Indians, Moors, and indigenous people, North, South, Central, and the conjoining islands. Once again, this is your brother A1, a Tontonist one, or Hanu Kiel, at the hands or the service of the Aborigine people of America that has been falsely classified as African, colored, Negro, and African American, and also Black, right? So, we're going to get into a little bill. It's going to be a short way bill because I got something I got to do. But I just wanted to kind of like go over a few things that I think that a lot of times when people get into a lot of these social gatherings, what a lot of people actually forget. So starting off with me, right? First of all, with me, right? Personally, right? And this is like really no knock to anybody, you know what I'm saying, who may have had to use certain methods for them to get notoriety in the community. But one thing we must understand, everybody has a mission, whether I agree or I disagree with their approach or what they're doing. I respect everybody for just at least trying to address the Aborigines. Some of the shit is for clout. Some of the shit is really people is being genuine with their approach on, trying to wake some of the people up, right? So I start off with myself, right? Me, myself, my whole intentions when I first came into this was to show people that it was Black people in America, simultaneously with the African slave trade, right? Then we started to look at other things, right? We started to see, all right, well, we see melanated people in America, right? But then also at the same time that they're telling you that they was enslaving us, they was also saying that they was enslaving so-called Aboriginal Indians. So I did extensive work
showing people about the so-called Indian slave trade, which today I don't really agree with. I don't agree with it, right? Because I see other things. I see Negroes in charge of the 13 colonies in America, and these can't be no foreigners. These have to be either returnees and people who got permission from our people to set up these so-called charters and these colonies, right? We see that. We see black people being freed and also engaging in what we call slavery, right? From the 1600s all the way through 1865, right? So originally, most of the people in this community, they thought that we came from a lot of these primitive habitats, and like what the Native Americans or the so-called, the Native Americans and what they've been doing. This has been our whole history, and they stole our history. But to do further research on it, we found out that in the 1600s that our people was wearing clothes, right? Living in houses, and we had systems set up. Was it agriculture? Was it irrigation systems? Was it trade systems? We had systems set up to where we just wasn't no hunter-gatherer, primitive as people. And this is the extensive work that I engaged in, right? Now, some people tell me that some of the information that I presented changed the thought patterns of what we thought an Indian was, or an Aborigine of America, right? So in this day and time, people, I guess they think because of certain viewership, of how many views you get, or if people paying for subscribers and all that. A1 have never paid for no subscribers. A1 have never utilized any trickery to tweak his so-called subscription or anything. I've never had to put nobody name in my title for people to come over here and give me views. My name have always been in the title or the subject matter at hand, which I went extensive with. I got 6-hour videos dolo by myself. I also have 6-hour videos of a panel of people coming in and engaging in the conversation. But many of my builds was dolo. I don't need nobody to reference me. I don't need to have any, and like I said, no shots to anybody. If this is the method you may take, then that's what you got to do. But just for me, I don't need to do none of that. I've been dropped the mic on this shit a long time ago and allowed other people to address the community and put out information without me trying to hog up the YouTube airwaves or anything of that sort. You know what I'm saying? So I allow people to do what they do. I don't try to, engage on anybody's viewership time. And like I said, I dropped the mic a long time ago. And I felt as though I can drop the mic because a lot of the work and a lot of the research that I put out there is research that I'm hearing regurgitated now. And that's the purpose of putting the information out there, not to be the ownership or the claim that the information that you put out there is yours, but it's to give it to the fucking people. Once you understand certain things, you got to give it away, because it's just not about, no egotistical thing to where, I did this first and I did this first. No. This is to give. This information is to give back to the people. Before Cash App, before any of the pay-per-views that I've done or anything, I put out an eclectic amount of research that it took me time to present and to be able to research. It took me a lot of time to put a lot of stuff together. So just in what we going in now, or what we looking at now, I think that a lot of the conversations has went away from, educating the people, right? because regardless of what anybody's saying, I emphatically say this too, right? A lot of people, family, been told them they was Indians, but niggas was Pan-Africans. And a lot of people say they wasn't Pan-Africans, but if you wasn't a Pan-African, then how do you know about some of these Pan-Africans? You understand what I'm saying? It's just that you didn't come into the community talking about Pan-African shit, because this Aboriginal shit was already popping. It was already an understanding that we was Aborigines. Now, some of us had to start from Pan-Africanism. Some of us had to start from being Hebrews. And you can't sit there and knock nobody for whatever journey that brought them to this forefront right here. Because I see a lot of people, they will knock people and be like, oh yeah, well, you know, some people was Hebrew, some people was more, some people was this, some people was that. That's the journey of the path that they had to join for them to get to where they was at. But I guarantee you, most of their people said that they was Indians, right? Or Aborigine. They probably didn't use Aborigine. More likely they use whatever terminology or name of the so-called tribe in which their people was part of, right? Or nation that they was part of. Because the tribal thing, connotatively, right, is from a primitive perspective. Now I'm doing a bill. I'm gonna probably do it in 2 weeks about the Aboriginal banks and Aboriginal towns, and some of the other commercial aspects to what Aborigines was involved in, right? And it's going to kind of show you a lot of different things in which a lot of people did not know about this stuff prior to A1 talking about a lot of this stuff. And like I said, and this information is not just for somebody to be like, oh yeah, well, someone was the first, but you have to give yourself credit, because a lot of people, what they would do is regurgitate information and never give you credit for nothing. And then at the same time, not giving you credit, taking information that you put out and try to tear you down at the same fucking time. How about that? How about that? And people that went on record and said, oh, well, you know, I learned a lot of shit from A1 and A1, this, that, and the third, but then try to double down and act like they never learned nothing from anything that I've ever presented over the last 8 years or 9 years, right? How about that? And see, when I see stuff like that, I look at people as phony, because this is the same shit that you see in everyday life that you get. You don't no longer have relationships with people who do shit like that. From the time that I started, I gave credit to all of the learning resources that got me to the point. I didn't just jump off the porch and just start talking about Indian information or Aboriginal information. I had to be sure and I had to be clear on, is this the truth and were we already here? Before I jumped off the porch. Now, I always give credit to my Moors, always. I don't care who don't like it. I don't care who didn't come through that. But if you learned something from A1, you learned something from what you call a Moor. And I emphatically identify as being a Moor, not from a Moor Science Temple perspective, but just being mortal or being a dark complexion in relations to Europeans, right? Which is an understanding which a lot of people don't understand, because a lot of this stuff is convoluted and people are selecting and picking what they want these so-called terminologies to be. So a lot of beef that I've gotten over the years is over the fact that I wouldn't renounce that I'm a Moor among people who I'm teaching, and among people who watching other niggas who got beef with Moors and going back and forth with them. But I emphatically been able to be to still be able to do what I'm doing over the years, despite the fact of anybody beef with these individuals. I have nothing to do. I don't have no association with them. I have no association with the Moor Science Temple of America. But I did do the research on Drew Ali and to try to understand what perspective Drew Ali was coming from. I didn't have to like get slander him according to someone who just was saying shit or whatever. I did my own research on Drew Ali to see whether he was sincere with his message. See, that's what a lot of people didn't do. A lot of people listen to rumors and a lot of these urban myths about certain people, but they never actually did the research on these individuals to see whether or not they were sincere. When I say sincerity is he's trying to uplift his people and trying to separate his people from being classified as Negro, Black, and colored. And according to my research, I in fact seen that this is what he was doing, despite all of the rumors and this nigga was in a circus eating nails and the FBI. Who trusts? And the thing of it is, motherfucker referenced the FBI when you had Hoover and his plight to stop the Black Messiah, but you're referencing the same people who tore a lot of our FBI then came out and said they had something to do with Martin Luther King, allegedly. Malcolm X, right? You know what? Bruh, I don't know you, but guess what? I'm going to put you on timeout. And the next time you come in and put something in my chat room, nigga, I'm going to block you permanently. Period. Now you can go cheer for whoever you came over here with or whoever you riding with, but I'm up here on official business. This is not about joke time or about coming up here in the chat room playing games, man. And that's the thing what I see too much. Too many people play games around here and they forgot what the message is. The message is not about one individual person. The message is about our people being done wrong. Period. And if you don't see a problem or the problem, if you're sitting up in there trying to be some YouTuber or you're sitting up in there trying to be some social media personality, then that's cool. I don't have no problem with that. But this is a mission. And I think a lot of people then forgot about that. To have a YouTube channel, you have to be a responsible individual to be out there talking to people and being able to give people information. You have to be responsible with your YouTube channel, which I see sometimes people not. But I don't have nothing to do with that. I'm A1 from day one. I came into this shit dolo. I didn't come into this shit off the back of nobody except the back of the ancestors that gave me the knowledge for me to be able to come up here and at least give my understanding to the people so that the people can go from there. Not to try to be no leader, not to try to be no chief, not to try to be no king, not to try to be no so-called important person when it comes to this information. I looked at the fact that, you know, our people are classified as Africans when the fact that there was so-called Negroes all throughout America, from Canada all the way down to Argentina and throughout the conjoining islands. Negroes existed on this land prior to the whole terminology or the understanding of African slave trade. And from there, I felt as though the people was being deceived. So with all of this deceiving shit going on, people still find a time to sit here and have these ego or these pitching content. I don't want to be part of none of that. My whole purpose of this is to put the information out and let the people know and let the people see, yeah, your family told you was Indians. Okay, now do your genealogy and go from there. Been from day one. I'm not a geologist. I'm not doing nobody genealogy. That's your personal journey. That's your personal journey. So whether or not you allow somebody to do it, it's cool, but just make sure that the person that you allow doing your genealogy is trustworthy and that you don't owe no allegiance to the person outside of whatever so-called payment method, or if the person gave you a verbal contract or verbal agreement that they're going to do it for free, not to disclose your personal information out there to the public. I don't want to be responsible for doing nobody's genealogy, because your genealogy is your genealogy is personal. That's something that you and your family supposed to be doing, not some random stranger that you don't fucking know. And that's the problem with people. People don't understand that, because guess what? Ain't nobody going to take the time and effort to do your genealogy like you would, because you have a purpose of how do I say? You have a purpose of finding out what your genealogy or your lineage is about. So no one is going to do it effectively as you would do it. So always understand that. So like I said, been talking about genealogy, but I'm not a genealogist, and I'm not summoning people to do it for anyone, because that's not what I'm here for. Because I've seen over the last 8 years, I've seen a nigga from Costa Rica do people genealogy where he ain't stepped foot in none of these towns where your people from, but to think that you can do it from a database is asinine. It's ridiculous to think a person could do your whole genealogy in Costa Rica from a fucking database when you gotta physically go to Hall of Records, access. You have to I've heard people sometimes having to go into burial sites to substantiate whether or not this is their ancestor or not. So this thing can get real. This shit can be real extensive on the research that you got to put in even to get your genealogy record. You can't do it from just a database. But you got people selling people that shit, and like I said, no, I'm not this particular bill, and I emphatically say, look, man, certain people don't do it. Don't jump the gun. Because if you jump the gun, I got something for you. I got something for you. So don't jump the gun. Don't jump the fucking gun. However, like I said, right, you can't do your genealogy just from no database. You got to physically go to some of these places. Because in some cases, there's 5 or 6 Robert Joneses living within a square mile from each other. Or Ethel Evans, or whatever name. A lot of these names was names that was given or passed on, like Robin, for example, right? I've seen a lot of people show me their genealogy, and it seemed like everybody got, especially in Virginia area, everybody got somebody named Robert in their family, or Jackson, or Jones, or it's numerous different surnames that goes in to a lot of people lineage, that a lot of people have that in common with other individuals. So when I tell you, no, I'm not a genealogist. I can do genealogy, but I'm doing my own genealogy, which is a fucking headache sometimes, which takes time to do. My own genealogy, not less. Okay, yeah, I can do your genealogy and get you back to the 1800s. But then for me to go further than that, before birth certificates and before a lot of these things that was recorded on record, I have to go back and see whether or not a lot of your family had land, and do your family land still have cemeteries and still have certain historical aspects that can connect you back to them people. That can connect you back to the people. Doing genealogy is not easy, man. It's really not. Who is you, Monaga? Talking about why I use your government. What government is you part of? You don't own no government. You ain't no chief of no. I don't know if you saying that to be to be funny or whatever, but you ain't part of no government. You ain't part of no government. You ain't no chief of no government. And this is the thing. People be claiming stuff. Oh, like Turtle Boy, not Turtle. Well, him too. That clown. He claiming like he the king of the Lenapes. Like there's not other Lenape ancestors out there that can claim and talk on this stuff. Like this is the thing that we doing here. And a lot of people get a lot of this stuff convoluted, and they don't understand the original talking point that we all started with this. Were it colored, black, Negro, or people that have been classified as African Americans in America prior what you call the fucking Middle Passage or the slave trade, right? Was it people already here? And in fact, who has these people in their lineage? Which a lot of people would sit there and double down and call you an African. People will call you a fucking African just to kind of like pick fun at you, saying that, oh, you mix with Native Americans, and the Native Americans who you mix with are white people, or are these Mongoloids, which we don't see nowhere. We don't see none of these Mongoloids from Canada all the way to Florida, from Florida, and from Florida all the way to the Mississippi. We don't see none of these Mongoloids. But the United States now has placed them in a lot of these places, bro. When you talk about the Seneca people, the original Seneca was niggas. But if you go up to Buffalo, the Seneca people is the people who run in these so-called casinos that the government placed there. And see, that's the whole thing with people, man. Too many people, you niggas think, you niggas still got these primitive Indian pictures up there thinking your people, that shit is ancient. That's millenniums ago that people was engaging in that. Show me one picture of your people wearing any of that shit. You can't show me no picture of your people wearing none of the so-called tribal stuff we see. So either we have to be two different people separate from them, or we're not them people. Which most historians has talked about, that it was two different people in America. On east of the Mississippi, it was a advanced civilization of people who wasn't hunter-gatherers, who had a trade route and trade systems going on. Are you them people? And like I said, a lot of this stuff get convoluted. It then got convoluted. And people take a lot of the literature that they read, they take that shit verbatim and think, oh yeah, we need to go back to the ancient time, nigga. In the 1600s, nigga, your people still had a system and still had technology, and it wasn't nothing like no hunter-gatherers, people living in teepees or wampums or none of that stuff. We had brick buildings here. We had stoves. We had trade routes. We had people who was employed, family members who was employed, who had a certain duty, and then everyone had their certain duties in order to keep the nation going. So I'm sorry that people haven't got the memo, and people still living and still following Native American culture, which ain't so culture. But like I said, starting point of this whole thing was it black people in America? Once you find out it was black people in America, once you find out in a lot of most of these so-called states that people live in now, it was already niggas there. Then you get some other convoluted stories about Native American slavery, right? Which at the same time Native American slavery going on, Negroes is owning slaves and Negroes is living in colonies and in cities. At the same time, you claim you the Indians and your people may have been enslaved, but at the same time, you got black people living in cities and living in states and they're unscathed. No white people was hunting them down. No white people was running in their towns, burning anything. So now you have to make sense of this whole thing, which I don't think a lot of people have done, even at this point in time, even when they do their genealogy. You don't see your people running around with none of this ridiculous and Native American shit on. Show me a picture of your people wearing any of this ridiculous stuff. Please. They may have a war bond on, but guess what? She may have a dress on as well, or have a suit and tie on with it. And even that goes back millenniums. Aboriginal people has been wearing hats, top hats, all types of hats for millenniums, man. Suits and ties. Shit. Most of it, man, I remember my grandfather when he worked in a certain slacks. If he didn't have an overall on, or like have one of them like one of them other overalls like the shit like Michael Myers wear. So, like I said, man, at the end of the day, man, you know, I don't know. Like, you know, like I said, you got people who talk a good one, right? But at the end of the day, they're not really doing nothing. And I put this on record, right? You cannot sue the United States government for classifying you as black. You can't. You can't. You think you can, but you really can't. Because they're going to tell you that you have a right to self-identify. They're going to double down and be sarcastic and be snobbish and tell you, well, no one told you have to be an African American. No one told you have to be that. You can identify with what you want to identify as. But if you don't know it, then that's a whole nother story. And then a lot of times people fell under people's jurisdiction. And when you fall under people's jurisdiction, right, they're going to classify you as what they want to classify you as. If you didn't fight to stay out of people's jurisdiction and to basically be citizens of any of these towns or any of these states or whatever, then these people are going to classify you as what they want to classify you as. But see, in 2024, you have a right to classify yourself as what you want to classify yourself, according to the records that you was able to find, and that will give you evidence of who your people originally was. But then even that get mixed up, because you got some people who got Moors, which are Black Europeans in their family, right? You got some people who, you know, now got foreigners in their family. They may have Aborigines as well too. But you got a lot of people who, you know, and I ain't trying to get all into it, but, you know, the dude from Costa Rica, he was the first one that was telling people that they had Europeans in their family, trying to use that because niggas was going in on him because he wasn't a true Aborigine. So he used that as leverage to tell you, oh, well, look, and doing people genealogy without their understanding, without their permission, doing people personal genealogy for what? You're not even in America. What the fuck is you doing people genealogy for? That's what I'm talking about. It's so many like undercover, like people are by default doing agent shit. By default. Yeah, people will help you on one hand, but on the other hand, people's doing agent shit. People trying to take you away from who you are just to prove that they're Aborigines and shit. So yeah, I've seen all this stuff. And like I said, I've seen all this in the last 8 years. I've seen a lot of funny stuff. Shit that I ain't part of. Shit that people try to pull me in, but A1 from day one got his own mind. I ain't nobody's bitch. I ain't nobody's bitch. I ain't got to put nobody's name in my title. I don't need nobody to come on my panel or my platform to reference to make me feel like I'm somebody. A lot of these people in this community then found A1 and they didn't hit the link and came on my platform. And was it could be somebody with millions of views or somebody with 100,000 views or somebody with tens of thousands of views. I ain't never put their name before my name because I don't have to. They're part of the struggle just like I am. You understand what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I don't like I don't clout chase out here. I just don't. And like I said, no pun intended. I'm just speaking on the facts. I don't need an army behind me. I don't need a tribe behind me. I don't need to the people we gather. When you see that alert that A1 is going live, that's the most responsibility I want to have for the people. I do not want to be responsible for having all these people. I got my own. I got to take care of my kids and worry about myself and worry about my own business, ventures or whatever. I ain't got time for all that. But what I will tell you is this: if you really want to know how to classify yourself or how you want to stick it to these people or whatever, I could damn sure show you how to do that. Because I am a living experience that this shit does work. I don't have to go out there and do like a skit or do like a PR campaign. All I have to do is put it on paper and send it to them. The pen is mightier than a sword. And then show you how this shit works. Period. Oh, we're going to get into a few things today, right? Outside of that, I want to go into something real quick. Give me a second. Let me pull something up. I want to show y'all something of what a lot of people haven't even been talking about. Let's hold up 1 second. Just bear with me. I gotta find it. What I'm looking for. All right, hold up. This is what I wanted to put up here right here. All right, this is just one of them right here. This is a video I found. All right, hold up. So that's one video. Hold up. I'm going to pause that and let me open this other video. These are some conversations that we really need to be addressing. Fuck all this clout chasing and all of this other stuff that's going on. These are some videos that we really need to be really. Matter of fact, I'm going to play that one too because I see something else. Hold up. Just give me a second, Sean. All right, so we got that. And we got all of this election going on, right? And like, you know, a lot of that stuff is really not really addressed to us, but certain things is, because certain things that our people supposed to we supposed to have before anybody. We supposed to have a lot of these so-called political promises to our people before anybody. But you see, other people are actually accessing it and actually getting it over us, right? So hold up, I want to find something real quick. It was something. All right, hold on. I think it's this. All right, it's this one. And don't look at the messenger. I mean, look at the message itself. All right, so hold up. Let me go into this real quick. All right, so now I don't know if y'all knew, right? But in California, right, they had this reparation hearing, right? Now, we know that the people who are saying that trying to get reparation is because they believe that the descendants of slaves and all of the narratives that the GED, the General Education, the GB, the General Education Board, and Reconstruction has brought upon a lot of the people, right? That changed their perspective on who their ancestors was prior to you actually going to any of these European institutions or these Slavic institutions or whatever you want to call them, right? But it's just something that I found that was interesting, right? To simultaneously go along with this, right? They propose that so-called migrants or immigrants in California get $150,000 for housing or for to buy a house, right? At the same time, they didn't even bring up the reparation hearing in which this fuck nigga Governor Gavin was supposed to like before, because they had it was a thing with him a couple years back in which they was doing a recount to get him out of office, right? And then at the same time, what he did was he started talking about, oh, he was going to give reparations and all this other stuff. So black people supported him. But then now, after they brought up, and actually he just vetoed that law that they put in for the $150,000 towards the migrants, right? But the whole thing that the Black Caucus on what they did was they blocked the so-called reparation hearing from even being brought up on the floor. So this is what I want to get. I'm gonna play a little bit of this. Matter of fact, you know what? Let me see something real quick. I think it was this. Hold on a second. This. No, hold up 1 second. I want to find something else. Bear with me. Oh, matter of fact, you know I can do it like this. And see, these are conversations that we're supposed to be talking about. Whether we believe that we're Africans, we still need to address the fact that our people was already here and the damage that was already done, and why we do really need a redress of grievances, and why there should be resources provided for our people that is actually in the UNDRIP and the ADRIP, right? It's actually in the UNDRIP and the ADRIP, right? But a lot of people is not gathering around that conversation for us to even get any of these things addressed, right? So hold up, let me see which one was it. I want to show y'all this shit because this shit is crazy. All right, it's this right here. And I'm gonna play something else to go along with it. All right, hold up. Yeah, all right, here you go. Now, like I said, mic check. Press 1 for me if you guys can hear me. Press 2 if you can't. And peace to brothers and sisters in the chat room, man. Peace to everybody. Mr. Darkfly, brother, man. Damn, Mr. Darkfly go back. He go back. And shout out to everybody else. I just want to address this. Shout out to my sister Elisa. Shout out to my sister Tasco and Laish Elakaim. Shout out to Cherokee Granny. I'm gonna give you a shout out, Monaga, but I think we need to straighten that situation out. What you were saying. Call me B. No cut cards. My brother Big Chief, All American, peace to God. Sig Grilla, peace to God. My brother Keith Lamont, peace to God. GG Sound, peace to God. Geesey, peace. My brother Tony Furlow, peace to God. Ebony Knowledge, peace to God. And that's as far as I'm gonna go up. But peace to everybody in the chat room, man. But check this out right here, right? So this is how they sabotage these people. This is what they do to niggas. Now hold on, I want this right here. Look, this is what they do to niggas right here. Check this shit out. Hold up, y'all can't hear that? No mic? All right, no sound. All right, let me hold up. Let me stop sharing and go back in. I think that's what AP told me I had to do every time I go out, come back in. Let me see something. All right, it's this one.
These are their bills. They have their names on the bills. They killing their own bills because they scared of the government. Now, listen, they gonna see this and they gonna get mad at us. They killing their own bills, then they gonna get mad at us. They killing their own bills because they scared of the government. Okay? We don't care.
We need to
Bring the goddamn bills up now.
The governor needs to understand that the world is watching California, and this is going to have a direct impact on your friend Kamala Harris, who's running for president.
And you know what? Y'all stand on what that sister just said. That's a beautiful thing she just said about it's going to have a direct impact on y'all little friend Kamala Harris.
It's going to have a direct impact. So pull up the bills now, vote on them, and sign them.
We've been
waiting for over 400 years.
If you don't give us no reparation, you ain't getting no vote. Y'all gave the legal.
Now I know you see right there holding the paper. That's Sister Camila. She was right there on the front. So just letting you know she was out there.
And one thing I would say, this is the brother Phil from the Vice show or Africa Diaspora. But one thing I can say that he did do real extensive research and provide the audio footage of what took place there. So don't think that just because he's an African, he's still not for what we call Black American. Even though if he don't subscribe to being Aborigines, this is still something that, you know, people think that they deserve. But unbeknownst to them that they're not Africans, right? that they never was brought here on no African slave trade. The damage that was done to your people was the fact that once you came into their jurisdiction, these people then took your land from you. That's how they took your land. They took your land by you signing deeds to which the government bought. These deeds that was proposed to you was bought to you by the fucking government. And once you signed them deeds, you how do you say, you relinquish your rights to your land in a lot of times. And a lot of times it was the government taking your land. So the fact that they did that, what a lot of people don't understand, and like you know, my people that's in the chat room, I really don't want to get into her personal business, but you know, a lot of people is taking on that fight to get back their land, because the land is the resources. The land is what they want, right? When you buy a fucking house, right? You don't own the house. No, matter of fact, I'm sorry. You don't own the land that the house sits on. Now, you may own the house for the time that you're gonna be on this third dimensional reality, right? Or you're on this so-called plane in a three-dimensional form, right? And most of the time you pass it on to your peoples. Your peoples don't never access the land. They go their whole life paying taxes to a corporation in which the corporation don't own the land. God never said, or the Most High, or the creator of this infinite plane has never said that, oh, these people are supposed to charge you for land. They could charge these immigrants, but as you see, that's in the Great Law of Peace. The land in which the people are Tonton or Tontonist to or Aborigine to belongs to the people. Doesn't belong to some people who then came in and formed the government. Because understand this, right? Government has only been established to maintain individual rights, meaning to be a mediator between you and the rest of the citizens, right? This is what government has been created for. And when you originally understand that in the late 1800s, early 1900s, what was happening when you do got the Knights of the Golden Circle and the KKK running rampant, which are previously Slavic slaves, right? That basically was not just jealous, but they was trying to like rattle the cages and change a lot of our living, our living, what's the names, to where they was going and burning stuff down. And then you'll get a government agent come up and say, well, look, we can stop these people from coming in here, burning your land and coming here harassing and trying to oppress you, or trying to like start a lot of these uprisings or whatever, or make your life uncomfortable, right? Just sign this paper right here. If you sign this paper right here, we can stop them. Once you involve them people in your business, now these people was going around taxing people for the land. This is how it originally happened. Now, I'm just summarizing or paraphrasing it, but I'm quite sure if somebody else has another example of it, it will pretty much be summarized pretty much the same way in which I just put it. But check this out. Let's get back to it, though. Peace to the gods, man.
Okay, I'm gonna stop that real quick. Let me tell you exactly who that is, which y'all about to see something that's extremely disgusting. But before
Okay, my sis said I could speak on her. Well, my sis, you know, she's got an uphill battle with these so-called Slavics and the jurisdictional procedures in which who is the true heir of the land that was addressed from the Most High and from the ancestors and from the Autochtons previously to these Slavics getting free and creating these so-called government ordinance to basically put you up under and control your inheritance. Your inheritance was the land that your people gave you. All of these corporations inhabit the land. That's the reason why they are basically forced, or not forced. Well, I can say forced to pay taxes to them. You understand what I'm saying? But if this was your land, right? If you owned your land, then you can contract with these so-called corporations and allow them to put corporate businesses on your land, and then the taxes or whatever fees that that you communicate with them and you negotiate, right, goes to your people and the owners of the land, right? So, you know, like I said, this is like, this whole thing is, it's so many different moving parts to the fact that you are Aborigine, right? But I tell you one thing, it don't make no sense for you to be an Aborigine and you still under the same laws and ordinance that African Americans are under. If you knew your people are the Autochtons and you knew that your people were the heirs of the land, why would you want to be under some false jurisdiction? And that's a lot of times where the fight is at. The fight is first you addressing, you have a right to self-determine, and then you can prove it through your genealogy, right? You have a right to self-determine who you are. You have a right to prove through genealogy records on who your people were and where they was residing at, right? And then through that, you can go back and you can pretty much say that, because a lot of times family sold the land. But you can go back and say that was under threat, duress, and coercion. You was coerced to sell the land. You didn't understand the contract. And like, there's no cohesion contract. A contract is only valid as long as you understand the terms of the contract. Once you no longer understand the terms of the contract, then you can always go back and cancel the contract. But that's a whole other thing. We get into that another time. But let's play some more of this video because you're going to find this very interesting.
I continue that. Let me go down here. Here we go. All right. Let me clear that off the screen. So the guy you're going to see in this video is the Reggie Byron Jones Sawyer Sr. This is the guy you're going to see. I wanted to make sure that you understand who you're going to be looking at here in this particular video. All right. So let me go on and just get myself back up there and let's go.
Look at that fucking goofball and how he mocking the people. And see, this is the thing, right? A lot of these people who you vote into policy, right? Or you vote into political seats or political what's the name, right? A lot of these people, what they do is they promise you certain things, right? Just like with Obama, right? Black people was expecting Obama to give them something, right? In which they never brought to his attention upon the time that they voted for him, right? They never brought to his attention that, oh, we want this, we want that. That's the only way you're going to get your vote. But a lot of these people then did this identity politics where they show you somebody who look like you and we fall for the banana in the tailpipe. You know, Nas said in one of his songs, what's the name of the song? Oh, I want to talk to the mayor. I want the governor, the motherfucking FBI. I want to talk to the CIA. That song, right? He said, black politicians is puppets, always talking about the city budget, right? But as we're going to see in New York, they spent over $5 billion to house so-called illegal migrants. Now, these people got a hard time of giving you reparations, right? Or giving you some form of redress of grievances, but you're giving people here who broke the law. If a person breaks in your house and seek refuge in your house, it's up to you to put them out. The people is the ones who put the politicians into office. The politicians are not the people who can take the people tax money and spend it how they want to spend it. They can't take the people tax money and just start. They're not even taking the tax money, giving it back to the people in most cases. Because a lot of times, a lot of the tax money, that's how a lot of these politicians get rich, because what they would do is they would take money from that, and then that will fund whatever their so-called finances or their ventures are, right? And then that's the reason why a lot of time the budget be short, because you get these rogue politicians who go in there and spend the money of the people on their own personal adventures, right? And then, like, at the end of the day, they're taxing you. You're spending your money. You're paying. You're all of it. 36. I believe it's like almost 40%, right? Almost 40% that they take it from the people. So they take 40%, like in New York. Like I'm gonna show you in New York, they taking 40% from each of the taxpayers, right? From each of the taxpayers, and then what they doing is they're using it to basically give it to people who broke the law to come into this country. If you cross the border and you're undocumented, then you are illegal. Illegal means you broke the fucking law. The biggest law it should be is people who trespass it. So if you come trespassing on somebody's land, you in a place where you ain't supposed to be. When have they never locked you up or gave you some type of gave you where you had to go to court, or there was some court proceedings to basically address that matter? When have it ever been that? When I was young, when I was out there hustling and everything, they had this thing called blocking public passage, right? Where if you were standing on the block or whatever, the police could come and just grab you up and lock you up and give you a summons, right? And then give you a summons, and then you'll go to court, whatever. You'll either get thrown out or you're gonna have to pay some type of fine, right? And that's basically another term for trespassing, right? So when has they ever since this country begun, right? They were just talking about the COVID thing, right? But you bringing people here where you ain't got no health records and you don't know what type of diseases or what type of, what type of diseases these people carry, right? You're bringing people in here that's undocumented. You don't know who they are. That's the reason why even when you was hustling, first thing police ask you for is identification. And if you don't got identification, they give you a hard time, right? They give you a fucking hard time if you don't have no identification. So how the fuck you got people here from a whole nother country that basically invaded, and that's illegal, coming into a country? They're undocumented. They didn't go through no vetting process like when you see Ellis Island, or people, at least in Ellis Island, they had to go and they had to be what's that shit called when you oh my god, I can't even think of the name of it. But when they put you in like a housing or a hospice area, and they pretty much take tests on you, I forgot the name, what they call it or whatever, right? They're not doing that with these people. They just putting these people on buses and bringing them to these sanctuary cities. And what you'll notice is all of these sanctuary cities are ran by your people. So what they do is they bring these people to our communities, right? Whether you believe it's your community or not, right? Even I'm speaking just, I'm not speaking from an Aboriginal perspective now. I'm speaking just on the fact of what we consider the black people, right? We got certain cities and certain towns where we live at, right? And what they do is they drop these people off in your town, right? A lot of these people be loitering because they be standing in front of the fucking Home Depots and in front of some of these other businesses trying to get work. And the police don't gather them up like they used to do drug dealers. They tell you they can't even call ICE because they don't want to do the fucking paperwork. So like you like, regardless of all of this back and forth shit about people in the community, we got a way bigger thing on our hands that I don't see a lot of people addressing. I see a motherfucker address somebody on YouTube before they bring up any of this shit or any of the real problems that our people are facing. Hold on for a second. That's right, Needy girl. This is our land. And I'll tell you this too, right? A quarantine. You're right, Subjack. Peace to God, right? So look, I'll tell you another thing, right? If we only 13% of the population, why the fuck they always going for the black vote? Because they need us to agree with their terms, because they know subconsciously and by default this is our land, whether we know it or not. So they need to ride off of our vibrations. in which we do subconsciously. We don't even know what's really going on, or the real play that's being said, that these people need you to agree to their fuckery for them to be able to proceed with it to the rest of the people. That's why they always talk about the black vote and all that, because they need us to be in sync with what their agenda is, because they know technically this is our land. That's right. We give people consent every day. Shout out to the God, Lauren Fire. Peace to Goddess. And that's what I'm saying. Like, a lot of us don't even understand that. We don't even understand. We run around here worrying about this old frivolous bullshit, but right underneath your head, think of it like this, even from an Aboriginal perspective, right? If you're not sovereign, right? Meaning if you're not a business owner, if you are working, or if you do have some type of contract with a corporation in order to get Federal Reserve notes or get resources, right? Think of it like this, right? The 1960s, right? 65. Soon as they passed the Civil Rights Act, what act did they pass simultaneously? That the Hart-Celler Act, the Immigration Act of 1865. And then when you go into the Hart-Celler Act, which is the Immigration Act, you'll see they say, okay, well, now we're going to allow people from the Caribbean, people from Africa, and people from other so-called black areas or black countries or black islands to come into this land. And a lot of times you think a person may be one of our people, but in a lot of times these people are what Tariq Nasheed called tethers, or they would change the whole policy. You got people who ain't been here for 50 years talking on our fucking business on, oh, well, I don't think black people should get reparations. And none of these people are our people. And that is a problem. That is a big problem. Whether you believe we Africans or not, you still got people who by default don't know who they originally are, but they are fighting for a good cause. But if they just was a little bit more informed, they will understand that, yo, we don't want reparations. Even though reparations will be to repair something, you want reparations, but you also want a redress of grievances to go along with that. You have a grievance to the government on what was done to your people, but you have to be able to know it. And like, you know, like some of the brothers and sisters in the community saying that everybody has their own story. Yeah, that's true. Everybody do have their own individual story, but our stories are interconnected. Most of our stories are the same. We all have been classified. Most people that got their land taken from. Yeah, you may have some people who may still have that land, but then the majority of us had our land taken from us. And they want you to think that, oh, a lot of people migrated to the north. A lot of, we got to think of it like this too. It was already people in the north. It was already people from Maine, or what we call Canada, all the way down the northeastern shoreboard that didn't come from the south, that was already inhabiting them areas. So you come from Maine, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Connecticut, New York, New Jersey, Delaware, Pennsylvania, Virginia, Maryland, Virginia, right? South Carolina, parts of Georgia into Florida. There was already people that was already in the fucking north, or the north. You could say, all right, you could say northeast and the southeast, right? That's on the eastern shoreboard, right? Now you got other people that's west, that's northwest, and that's southwest, right? And then would be the people that's inhabiting, you know, in Chicago, St. Louis, along the Mississippi Valley, Texas, Oklahoma, and all the way down, right? So we had people all the way from the Mississippi all the way to the East Coast shores that is indigenous to them areas, that was already there, that never came on a Great Migration. Now you do have people who did travel on a Great Migration, but a lot of people who was in them regions, or what I'm saying, was already there. Me and my brother doing a build on the northeast tribes, and that not every so-called nigga or Negro that's living in the North came from the South, because we get these so-called back and forth conversations about how people hate New York, people hate New Jersey. A lot of that shit is bullshit, man. And I don't even understand why people fix their face to even say a lot of this stuff. But a lot of this stuff is going on in the community. Oh, I don't like a person. I don't like that he's from New York, or that New Yorkers do this and New Yorkers do that. There was already niggas in New York already. Where the fuck you think the Shinnecock and the Montauk was at? And the Vranapi, not Lenape, but Vranapi, right? These people ain't never come from the South. But then if we want to say at some point in time, because there are stories and there is literature that supports that most of the tribes came from the South, which is the North too. That's a whole nother thing that people don't understand, right? The continent is upside down. South Carolina will be what you would call, the South Carolina will be pointing up northwards. It's not southwards, it's up northwards. How they show you the continent on the globe, or how they show you America is upside down. It's not the way that they show it to us. So the North is the South and the South is the North. And a lot of people don't truly understand that. A lot of people don't understand that. The North is the South and the South is the North. So what you would think you would be traveling southwards is really you traveling northwards. But these people didn't change everything. They didn't change our whole frequency whenever we come to everything. And that's the reason why a lot of people are thrown off. That's the reason why a lot of people seek substances to basically, you know what I'm saying, to help them ignore the terror that's really going on. You understand what I'm saying? That's the whole reason. Because when you really truly visualize this stuff, or you ponder a lot of this stuff, you look at it like, man, it's fucked up. It's fucked up. And they doing a lot of this stuff purposely to our people, man. So I'm gonna get back into I'm gonna get back into this video, man. But like I said, man, peace to the gods, man, peace to the goddesses, man. Let's get back into this. Watch this shit.
He's mocking them, ladies and gentlemen. So let me stop right there. That video itself, that part, no, I got more to show, was the most disgusting thing I ever seen in my life. Disgusting. He's mocking them. Listen, what's the point of representation at this point? What's the point of it? You might well have a white supremacist do that. I would respect it a lot more if the white supremacist did it. But you have a whole black man going up there sabotaging your reparations and teasing you about it. You can't make this up. You cannot make this up. Appreciate you fishing with Rick. Your black representation is mocking you, acting like a petulant child. I can't even say that because my 10-year-old don't even do things like that. This guy know you there for reparations, and he's laughing in your face. This is why we talked about last night the introduction of vote against blue no matter who. Now, what does that mean? Vote against blue no matter who means we got to let the Democrat Party know from the top of the ticket all the way down to the local elections that you have messed with the wrong people. I would say another word, but we got to be professional here. You mess with the wrong people. So vote against blue no matter who means this. You vote for whoever you like to vote for. If it's Republican, it's still a vote, right? So from the top of the ticket all the way down, if any.
Check this out right here. I'm gonna show y'all something before I come back to this. Look at this right here. This is another video I was checking out or whatever. Now look at this. Oh, hold up, my bad. Let me share this. All right, so hold up. Let me see something. Hold up. Hold up. My bad. I stopped sharing the screen. Hold up. Sometimes being on stream, y'all like being in the goddamn cockpit of a goddamn airplane. Look at this.
How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about a woman destroying the so-called migrants coming into Chicago, Illinois, and the people who are allowing it to happen, the white liberal groups. There's a communist group called RevCom Corp. They put up a crazy sign. I got to read the sign right quick before we get to the video. Look at this sign. Okay, let me get a closer view. You see what this sign says? Black people hating on immigrants. Nonsense, and worse from people who should know better. Okay, so basically they're trying to shame us for not liking the migrant crisis. Hey, there's a bunch of crime and violence and guns and drugs and human trafficking going on in our neighborhood, and they're kicking this out of our communities. They're taking.
And check this out, right? See, they need us to agree on this fuckery. And see, what a lot of black people do is this, right? People think gentrification is only dealing with white people. Gentrification is dealing with migrants from any fucking way that come into your community that has a say so on your livelihood or your well-being. You know what I'm saying? So we sit here and we think, oh, these people look just like us or whatever. Oh, they're going to come in and help us against white supremacy or against the government or whatever government ordinance. These people come in here and get right in line with all of this shit. While you out there refusing to get a job, these people come over here and get 3 jobs. And meanwhile, you can't get a job. The Jones, Jacksons, Johnsons, Robinsons, you gotta fill out an application with them. And like I said, when you go back and you read the UNDRIP, you really got first dibs at a lot of this stuff because these people are occupying on your land. But if you don't know that, then that's a whole nother thing. But let's get into the sister so you guys can hear it. Check this out.
Taking over buildings, but we shouldn't say anything because we're black, and I guess we're in the same boat. I can't tell. Look, if I commit a crime here in this country, I get locked up. I go straight to the penitentiary to make big rocks to little rocks. But the migrants are breaking laws, and what do they get for coming into the country, bogarting, coming in illegally or whatever? What do they get? They get free rent for 6 months, 2 years, sometimes in Chicago. They get a bunch of money, $5,000. $10,000 up to $20,000 a month for a family. They get all kind of food stamps, and they get to work jobs. They do all of that. They're getting identification, and ultimately they could become citizens and vote. So why would I be for that? Now, before I go any further, let's go ahead and get into the actual video here. I will link to it in the box as well. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
You don't hang no signs about black people hating on immigrants, because black people ain't got no reason to hate on no immigrants.
Oh no, but the immigrants got
We
the reason to hate
everything
on
y'all
us.
are in there, son. Let me tell you something. You get them signs down. Anytime that ordinary Lawson and Silverstein and what's that other?
Cesar
They sit up
Lopez.
here and talk
Lopez.
about how they should get a hate crime bill because swastikas was in Ziploc bags in their community. They hung this in our community. We want it off the poles.
That's a really good point. So from what I heard, she's talking about some of the council members or whoever talking about they want a hate crime bill because there was swastikas in a Ziploc bag, some kind of racial thing that was aimed at them and their community. So you want a hate crime bill for that, but this right here is hateful. Why are you posting these signs in the black community trying to shame black folks for being against the so-called migrant crisis? Okay, that is cause for a hate crime bill as well. If what happened to you guys with the Ziploc bag was a hate crime bill worthy thing.
We want that to be the beginning of a hate crime, and that organization, which is a white liberal organization, like in the words of Malcolm X, who told us what? That white liberal is the worst enemy. Yeah. Yes, man. Yes. And coming up in here acting like y'all representing some strength. You ain't gonna lie.
Y'all gonna abuse us.
They don't appear to be very moved at all. They don't really care. And you know what? At a certain point, what she's saying is correct. But I hope that people are listening, and I hope people vote accordingly. If you vote for the same old people, they don't even really care. You say whatever you want to say. I'm not going nowhere. So what? So I hope people are listening.
Do like that Tulsa lady, you better get up out the Democratic Party. Save yourself, save your families, save your just like RFK Jr. Just do like that Tulsa lady, you better get up out the Democratic Party. Save yourself, save your families, save your dignity, save your jobs, and save your seats. Because if y'all don't, we coming for your seats. We ain't taking this no more. We ain't taking no disrespect from a bunch of people who have broke into the country and now have completely broke the city, have completely broke the country, have completely disgraced the United States of America.
Now, before she continues, broke the country in more ways than one, because there was a study that was put out by a year. One
is a disgrace, and for us. Oh my God, what a solution. You give us a fake, black, cackling hand of a candidate with a vice president that's talking about he want to put tampons in the boys' bathroom. The number one function of a president is to be the commander-in-chief. You tell me anything about a Kamala Harris that looked like she could protect this country after y'all have sat up here and let it get her overridden with a bunch of illegal Democrats. Y'all have sat up here and put America's hands in all kind of wars. And you telling me a tampon man that ran from duty don't even know what his rule was. Kamala Harris, who don't know what race she is, gonna protect this country? The devil is a lie. Y'all better keep some signs down.
Yeah, take the signs down though, because this sign is crazy. Okay, and it's
See, they put them signs up to taunt our people, to try to get our people to acquiesce to what the fuck they want us to acquiesce, to go along with this goofy shit, because they know that, listen, if we don't agree for these people to be in our community, they ain't going into these suburbs or going into these white people community. They're in our community. They're in our community. These people drop these people off in our community, and we sit here thinking that, oh shit, well, they're minorities like we are, so we supposed to get in line with this with this fuckery. And this is what the politicians that you put in, all the black caucus, all of these black mayors, none of these people do nothing. The only thing these people do is throw cookouts and throw fucking parties and shit. But meanwhile, they bring in these people into your community, and 20 years from now, you're not going to have a say-so in nothing. And like I said, that's even just as from a African-American or black perspective. If we don't get together and put a lot of this nonsense aside and really go on the backs that our ancestors was here and this is our land, then we're doomed, man. We are screwed. And I don't think a lot of people understand that. So, like I said, this ain't about no clout for me. I care about my people. You understand? This ain't about no clout for me, or I'm trying to get no YouTube subscribers, or I'm trying to get people to do anything. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, this is about our people, man. Our people that have been screwed, my dude, since the 1900s. I show you the Sir Solomon Jones film all the time of all of the resources and all of the stuff that our people had, and all of the different, you know, skill set that our people had. And look at us now. Today, niggas is talking about trapping. Niggas is taking synthetic heroin. Niggas is out here. We out here killing each other. We out here really doing this degenerate behavior amongst our women. Like, look, man, if we don't get ourselves together, we gonna be screwed. This ain't about no YouTube. This ain't about no YouTubers or about no trying to be no social media presence. This is about the people in general. And if we don't get it together, we screwed, man. We are really screwed. These people fighting for reparations, like I said, you push that envelope with that UNDRIP. You push that envelope with that UNDRIP. Push that envelope with your genealogy to substantiate who your people were and what resources and what debt or what these people owe your people. Not no reparations for being no goddamn slave, because I can show you a whole goddamn book. And that's another thing. A lot of these people, most of the so-called people, right? They always talk, oh, my people was freed in 1865. Got a whole book showing you black people was freed way before that. So why they keep telling all of the people that they was free in 1865 when you got black people in 30, 40 years prior to that owning 310 slaves, 300 slaves, 200 slaves, owning corporations, owning estates? So like I said, man, a lot of this information is convoluted, man. A lot of people resonate themselves with being these primitive Indians, and then when they do show you people who's not even in any of that so-called attire, that's wearing suits and ties, and your grandmother wearing head wraps and wearing dresses and stuff like that, and even people working on farms or sharecropping, they show you that the first thing they tell you, oh, you was a slave. These are slaves right here, not knowing that somebody had to go out there and till that land. Somebody had to be responsible for that. And these people that they're showing you are your ancestors, and they're actually working on their own land. That never came into play with a lot of these people's mind state. They show you that people start shivering and shaking. Oh, we were slaves. Oh, look at that. Oh, nigga, somebody got to get out there. Just like today, when I had my own agricultural thing going on, I had to get out there, man. My daughter used to go out there, and we used to put chicken wire up, and we used to plant and fertilize the soil. I had to do that myself. I had to get down and dirty with it. So what makes you think hundreds of years ago, when you see people doing this, that these people are slaves? They creating that narrative. They put that in your mind, and you believe everything that these people tell you. That's why I say, like, okay, it's good that we know how to read, but if you ain't got no discernment when you read, then you just as stupid. You just as dumb as a motherfucker who can't read. If you think a person put this, and most of these authors and most of the people who providing this literature to us are white people or Europeans or Slavs that's providing this literature after Reconstruction. So we're reading this stuff, and then we believing that this is what really happened to our people, and then we're going from there and thinking I know how to read, so I can read. You ain't got no discernment then, my dude. You have no discernment, and you didn't hear any information that is opposition to that for you to be able to gain your own thought. A lot of these people are autopilots, man. A lot of people in the community are autopilot too. Let's get back into some more of this. Peace to God.
It's a white liberal communist group behind it. Again, RevCom Corp.
Democrat is running unopposed. Write your name down, or whoever name you want to put in there, right? I know y'all like that footage. Let me rewind that one more again. This is the people we supposed to vote for, y'all. Right here. This is your black representation. Look at that. Look at that. That's who y'all supposed to go vote for in November.
Listen to what the brother said in the beginning, right? Listen to what he said. Now, listen, pay pay attention to what this brother said, right? He's saying that a lot of these political people look like us, but they're scared of the government. The government, like, they will propose something to us, right? Like, for example, right, when Biden did that debt forgiveness thing, when he was going to something with the student loans, right? He knew that law wasn't going to pass. He knew he wasn't going to be able to pass that law. But what he did was he ran off of it, and people got around it thinking that he was going to be able to do it. And these people give you false promises for them to get into these offices, and they already know that these laws ain't going to be passed. They already know, but they will give all these illegals free room and board. You got people in New York living in these 5-star hotels. What is the purpose of you bringing people here? And then meanwhile, New York already had a vast homeless population. Everywhere you walk in New York, you see somebody laying on the streets. But y'all don't want to do nothing to help them people. But then you could bring these, because this is a play. These people are not that nice that they care about anybody else other than themselves. But you believe that they care about some illegal immigrants to bring them in. They have an agenda for these people. It's not that they bringing them in here because these people are humanitarians who care about people. They don't care about nobody, because we can see how they was lynching, how they was doing our people, dogs, sicking dogs on us. But all of a sudden they care about some people who ain't buying to nothing. They care about some people who ain't pay into nothing. People who just crossed the fucking border, and then they bringing these people in on buses. They bringing them on buses and giving them free fucking benefits. And people thinking that, oh, these people are humanitarian. Oh, they care. The Democrats care. No, the Democrats or the Democrats having the fucking agenda like they have always had an agenda. We already showed you who was the people who created the Democrats. Most of these so-called towns that our people live in was Republicans. Right? And they was Republicans, right? And the KKK was the Democrats. They was the ones that was pushing this democratic agenda, because the democratic agenda is something that's based on foreign occupation, or people who are not in their proper persona or their proper so-called status, right? That they need to bring these people in to overthrow the people who land it really belongs to. So you got Lyndon B. Johnson, right? After Martin Luther King died, niggas went crazy, right? After Martin Luther King died, niggas went crazy. And niggas went crazy in Chicago, St. Louis, in Texas, in Memphis, in fucking I think I said Detroit, Newark, Camden, in Harlem, other places, and they was burning shit down. And so what Lyndon B. Johnson way was to fix that was to pass that Civil Rights Act. He didn't want to pass the Civil Rights Act. He passed it because his constituents told him to pass it, or they was going to burn every fucking thing down. That's the reason why they passed it. And niggas still, for the life of me, still vote Democrats or think that they are lifetime Democrats. No, it's whatever policy that these people are going to provide for the people that's going to help your life and help your family. These people at the DNC, right? They had abortion vans there. And what's the other thing when they make a man sterile, they put the thing in I forgot what it is or whatever, but they had abortions and they had the hysterectomies, right? If I'm saying it right? They was giving out abortions and hysterectomies. So they running on you killing your babies, right? Which we already know that more than 15 million or over 15 million babies been aborted since it. We already know what Morgan Sager said. All right, black people are like weeds, we must kill them. But then we still are fighting for this shit. And you got women out there that's fighting, that's talking about, oh, they trying to take women rights. They're trying to take women rights. Oh, what happens if a woman get raped? She ain't gonna be. That's a small percentage of the people who are getting abortions. The majority of people who getting abortions are women who are having recreational sex, polygamous sex, right? And they find out they pregnant and don't want to keep the baby. In some case, in most of the cases, right? We know, yeah, women get raped. We know all that other stuff. But in the large majority of abortions are just people who don't want to be with this other person who impregnated them, so that they think their option is just to abort the child, so that they would not have the responsibility of being a parent in most cases. Let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it a buck. But they got abortion clinic vans out there, and they had hysterectomy vans, and this is sterilizing the men, and this is basically this is kind of diminishing our population by them killing off the children that can be, that can be the future, right? And they using birth control too. Come on, man. Like, who would run off of that shit? And you got Negroes out here, they're trying to stop women's rights. No, this ain't got nothing to do with no fucking women's rights. That's a talking point. That's some programmable talking point that people are gravitating towards. But check this out. We got some more to play on this. I'm gonna get a little bit more into this. But listen to what the brother said.
Scared of the government. Now, listen. They gonna see this and they gonna get mad at us. They killing their own bills, then they gonna get mad at us. They killing their own bills and they scared of the government. Okay? We don't care. We need to
He said they killing their own bills and they scared of government. That's exactly what the brother said, and that's exactly what they do. They put these black politicians, they offer them the world, but meanwhile, what they tell them, you better not do nothing for your people. You better give them these frivolous laws in which people think that they are actually benefiting from, but the overall laws that these people present to you are not being passed. And these people are adamant about getting reparations for their people. Regardless, like I said, we don't agree with that. We know we Aborigines. We know that we have a whole totally different agenda other than us being slaves and these people taking the land. We know that we ran this fucking land. And these people use threat, duress, and coercion to take the land from us. We wasn't ever no slaves. You may have a few people who might have been slaves that might have had a white mother or a Slavic mother and maybe product of that. That's maybe sometimes when you look at your genealogy, you may see somebody slave. But overall, you do not see your ancestors being slaves. That's something that they reconstructed and wrote into the system that we fall for. So let's get back.
Now, governor needs to understand that the world is watching California, and this is going to have a direct impact on your friend Kamala Harris, who's running for president.
And you know what? Y'all stand on what that sister just said. That's a beautiful thing she just said about it's going to have a direct impact on y'all little friend Kamala Harris.
It's going to have a direct impact. So pull up the bills now, vote on them, and sign them. We've been waiting for over 400 years. Oh.
My friend Kamala is coming up on one of the last major fundraising deadlines before Election Day.
And look at this clown. Think of it like this too, right? Just let's sit here and think, right? Out of all the black people in America, black Americans, we're the highest percentage of so-called melanated people in America, right? Right? Why haven't we never had a black president? And like I said, I don't go with all that, but this is just something to just ponder. Why we never had a Jackson, Jones, even though we know we did. We know we did. We know Thomas Jefferson was black. We know Andrew Jackson was black. We know Abraham Lincoln was black. We know George Washington, if he ever existed. Some people said George Washington was Crispic addicts. I've got literature that supports that, right? We know that we had so-called melanated or Aborigines presidents in the past. We already know that. These are not mulattoes. The pictures that they're showing us are not them people. Are not them people. The picture they're showing us is a psyops, right? But in our lifetime, why every time it's a melanated president, why they always got to be a tether or be an immigrant? Barack Obama's mother was Jewish and his father was African. And then there's some other confusion thing. Him supposed to be from Hawaii, Indonesia. But these niggas, what they do is they talk like he talk about Al Green and he talks about all of these people who we like. So we think that he is just like us. Kamala Harris, the same thing. Talking about she put collard greens in the tub. Who put collard greens in the tub? When have you ever seen your people do that? They are always put in a sink, and before they even put it in a sink, they sterilize the sink thoroughly with bleach. They clean that sink thoroughly before they put anything in that sink. Right? Because how it go, right? We seen her put a fake Southern accent on, right? But black people is so fucking stupid because we don't know technically, and I'm not saying we're black, right? But black only equates to black Americans. Everybody else who is black, they come here, right? Everybody else who is black, they come here and say that they black so that they can get the benefits that our ancestors fought for. But technically, they're not black. The only black people are black Americans. What do you mean, A1 Africans are not black? No, we're not even black. We're brown. But we know that status was applied to us. It wasn't applied to nobody else. Wasn't applied to nobody else. So when people come here, they try to ride off of the fact that, we look alike, so I have to be the same status when I'm in America. Like they say, when in Rome, do as the Romans, when in America, do as the Americans. Which is us, the copper color Aborigines, right? Right? But these people run around here talking about they black. I'm black because you got the same melanin. No, black is a freaking status, nigga. That means civitin mon tous mean you are dead in the eyes of civics. That's why they sit here and ignore. That's why they sitting up there ignoring these people because they don't recognize them. They're not supported by any group of people of any prominent or they don't come from a nation. Their nation has been overtaken by the United States. United States is of America, meaning that it took over the the land of America and also the Americans that inhabited this land. And now you are under their jurisdiction. You're under their jurisdiction. That's why they don't have to recognize you. That's the reason why they can bring foreigners here and give these people benefits right in front of your eyes. Imagine if you brought in some orphans, right? Your child just asked you, oh yeah, I want to go to the movies. You want to take me to the movies? And you're like, nah, we can't go to the movies. But then you bring some orphans in and leave your child at home and go take the orphans to the movies. Imagine that. Imagine that. They telling you that they can't give you reparations, but they got all this freaking money to access to give illegal people who broke the law to get here to give them benefits. Go figure that. Go figure that. Go figure that. They telling you no, but then telling some people who ain't fight for nothing. And like I said, regardless of whatever you want to think, because a lot of this shit is pseudo, right? But We fought supposedly in a Revolutionary War, which I have some grievances on that, or some things in there that I just don't really fully agree with, right? But according to them, you fought the Revolutionary War, you fought in all these Indian wars, you fought in the Civil War, you fought in World War I, World War II, you fought in the Iraq War, the Vietnam War, the Gulf. You fought in all of these wars. People then died, and your people still can't even get their so-called grievances addressed. They will address some goddamn immigrants and bring these people here. And then these people sit on you. And I'm keeping it a buck. And I'm not trying to be funny, man. But from what I see, just like in Watts, California, just like in California, we see how the Mexicans already oppressed the black people there. Going to Watts, California, going to Compton, California, going to LA. Them people then took over, and the whole thing was Kamala Harris was a senator of LA when a lot of that stuff was going on. But back in the 60s and the 70s, you had black mayors. That was like the dude Willie Brown. He was the mayor. I think he was the mayor of Oakland. Then you had a few other black mayors he was the mayor of San Francisco. Then you had black mayors of Oakland, black mayors of Los Angeles. Now all of that stuff is diminished. All of it's diminished because these immigrants come in, they sit there, they act like they down with you because they live next to you, right? Because they live in the same community as you live in, right? So they need your approval, right? But then secretly, just like when these secret societies by Albert Pike and the AME churches and these Slavic or / mulattoes and all of these other people that form these secret societies, these people are still doing the same. They're using the same tactics today. They come in, befriend you, act like they're your friends, but unbeknown to you, these people don't care about you and they're trying to get one up and put you up under them. Period. And like I said, listen, I know all the presidents prior. I even know Andrew Johnson, the president who took over for Lincoln, was a nigga. Now, when you get, I forgot what president was in when they did the movie Birth of a Nation with the KKK. Some people say that was the first white president, or first Slavic so-called president. Right? Some people say he was the first so-called Slavic president. Yeah, but even with a minority, right? We sit around here and tell us we're minorities. A minority means minor. So the white people that sit there and took account and said, oh, it's more of us than it is them, so we're going to call them minorities and we're going to be the majorities. Go figure that. So white people that took a head count and said, oh, it's more of us than it is of them, so they're minor. They're the minorities and we're the majorities. Do you understand how that works out when you call yourself a minority? When you call yourself a minority, you call yourself a minor. A freaking minor. Peace to the 175 people we got in it. Please hit that like button, man, so this video can go viral or can get the views to where we can wake the people up, for the people to really understand the play that's being brought in front of our people. Shout out to everybody in the chat room. Peace to gods, peace to goddesses, peace to Aborigines, Indians, Moors, and all the other indigenous people of the Americas. Let's get back into this. Watch this. But look, you see your man Obama, and these niggas, black people, look at Obama like a god, like a god, like a god. They look at him like he's a god. He's a freaking tether. And he's a tether who was basically programmed. He was programmed. He was programmed to pander towards black Americans. He was programmed to be one of us, and nobody ever say, well, wait a minute, man. It's a conflict of interest. If his people don't go back to the South or go back to the 1800s, then how is he credible to speak for our people? How? He don't have that same blood pumping through his veins to where he want to do anything to help our people. Yeah, he wants to sit up there and talk to LeBron James and talk about Al Green and talk about all this other stuff. But at the end of the day, he ain't going to do nothing for your people. He is just this. That's identity politics. And you're just happy that you have a melanated man who ain't even from your lineage in office. Peace to God. Let's get back into this.
So when I say
concurrence list,
pick it up.
we're currently not on that item. We're currently working on the concurrence list.
So will we be getting to that item?
Well, we're currently working on the concurrence list at the moment.
Well, I'll make a motion that we take it up now.
Is there, Mr. Asali is asking to suspend the rules to take it up. Is there a second? No second motion.
Second.
Was there a second? Nope. There's no motion. We're going to go ahead and move to item number 109, AB 544.
Now move to take up AB 1836 by Senator Barkan.
Assembly Bill 1836 by Senator Barkan, Land and Intellectual Property.
Respectfully ask your honor. Thank you, Senator Barkan.
You see the bald head black dude with the beard? He's physically blocking this Republican. Now, whether or not this Republican is sincere, he's still trying to get it proposed on the floor, and the black caucus is not even bringing it up. They're blocking it. And then you know what these niggas said? Oh, we don't want to put it on the floor so that Governor Gavin can veto it or whatever. Nah, nigga, that ain't a good enough explanation, nigga. Put the shit on the floor, nigga, and then fight for it. But these people are being paid. They don't care about our people. They only care as long as these niggas is eating caviar and eating whatever the hell people eat these days or whatever, and living in six, 7 bedroom houses and driving whatever the best cars that they think and whatever type of federal finances that they got in their bank account. They don't care nothing about our people. They just dare, and then, like I said, they're there to work against our people. They're buffers. Like when you talk about the boule, and Steve Coakley Ben said this, the boule is the one that blocks the people, or they're the front line for like the Scottish Rite Freemasons and some of these other organizations. They like the Talented 10. They put these people there. These people are informants to hear. They come in to hear what people talking about, and then like if you have a brother like Martin Luther King or Malcolm X or whatever, or someone who's speaking truth to power, these people will inform on them, and these people will inform on them. They will sit there and spy on them until that they can undead them or delete them or unalive them. I'm sorry, unalive them or delete them. You know what I'm saying? And that's what you see. Everybody who truly cared about our people was unalived and deleted. They're not gonna allow nobody to really speak truth to power. They got too much espionage. They could slip a pill in their water. They could do so many different things to unalive them, and you will never know what really happened. That's not no reason to be scared, though. It's not no reason to be scared. A lot of people don't talk about this shit because they scared. But guess what? Energy never dies. Well, you're all gods, but you're gonna die like men and women. Your body gonna die, but your energy is gonna remain forever. So don't let nobody fear you of these people will come in here and pulverize you, or I don't give a fuck. As long, like I said, man, this shit, this information, until we get where we gonna go, the ancestors is gonna always be kicking down the doors until the truth is mainstream. until the truth is mainstream and everybody come to an understanding that we was already here and we are the only Americans and this is our land, period. Let's get back into this, man. Peace to God.
So what he's upset about is the Democrats are blocking him from trying to put the reparations bills up. That's what he's upset about. Remember, he's not doing this because he supports reparations. He's doing this to spite the Democrats and really show what the Democrats are really about. I think this is actually a beautiful thing he did because he really let black people know what the Democrats got going on.
Your time is ticking away. You're now down to 15 seconds, Mr. Gallagher. Do you have testimony, Mr. Gallagher?
Mr. Speaker, I do.
It's not going to shut me up. To shut up 500,000.
Thank you, Mr. Gallagher. Seeing as you're in no privilege to take purple open roll. All those votes desire to vote. All those votes desire to vote.
So this is Assemblyman Mr. Bryan. He's mad I brought up the reparations vote. So he's preventing me from speaking. And he's trying to block my access to it. Why are you so upset?
You vote for 3 strikes. You put black folks in prisons, but
here
now
for
you
3
want to be a reparations person.
Why?
But you
We
won't
should
vote
have
for the bill. I
we
supported
should
the bill
have a
all
conversation.
session.
Then bring the bill.
Will you vote for the bill, Mr.
Bring the
Simmons?
bill.
Will you vote for the bill?
Bring it up.
Will you vote for reparations?
Bring it
I
up.
would love it.
Bring it up.
Let's vote for reparations
Bring it
together.
up. Bring it up.
You in, Bill?
Bring it up.
I didn't think so.
Bring it up. I'll vote for it.
And you see what these fucking coons do? So now he's mad at him talking about he vote for 3 strikes, but you voted on Biden, the nigga who passed the crime bill. The nigga, oh my God. Let's see something real quick. Hold on. Let's see. This is how much of a hypocrite these niggas is. Watch this. Watch this. Hold up for a second. Watch this. These niggas is all Democrats, bro. And these are the niggas who they vote for. And then they sit there and tell you, oh, Trump is a racist, right? Hold up for a second, because it's hard to find it. Hold up, let me see something real quick. Let me see something. All right, here it go right here. Let's see.
Crime bill's coming out our ears. Every major.
Ignited by the murder of George Floyd by a Minneapolis police officer, Joe Biden pledged his support for meaningful criminal justice reform and doing more to prevent the mistreatment of African Americans by cops.
I call on the Congress to act this month on measures that will be the first step in this direction, starting with real police reform.
While Biden deserves praise for getting behind vital reforms as he campaigns for president in 2020, it's worth remembering that the former senator from Delaware is partly responsible for some of the worst aspects of today's criminal justice system.
It doesn't matter whether or not they're the victims of society. The end result is they're about to knock my mother on the head with a lead pipe, shoot my sister, beat up my wife, take on my sons. So I don't want to ask, what made them do this? They must be taken off the street.
There are other measures to stop transferring weapons of war to police forces, improve oversight and accountability.
Let the FBI agents buy weapons as powerful as the drug cartels had. They're getting beat up.
The president might also want to open the U.S. Constitution once in a while. If he did, he'd find a thing called the First Amendment.
There's a thing called the First Amendment, which is read in a way that I think is a little excessive.
From the crack epidemic of the 80s to the crime wave of the 90s to the post 9/11 war on terror, throughout his career, Biden has represented the Democratic Party consensus, shifting his views to fit whatever best serves his own political career. Over his 44 years in the Senate and then as vice president, Biden was a leading architect of today's criminal justice system, which contributed to mass incarceration and the police misconduct that protesters are fighting back against today.
Biden crime bill, the Biden crime bill.
The Biden crime bill.
Hell, we've had crime bills coming out our ears. Every major crime bill since 1976, every minor crime bill has had the name of the Democratic senator from the state of Delaware, Joe Biden. You got a gun, you commit a felony, 10 years. We already have it 5 years. Minimum mandatory. Judge can't say, you know, you had it in your pocket, you never intended to use it, we're only going to give you 1 year. Judge has to say 5 years. Well, he wants to make it 10 or 20 or 60. We can work that out.
He wanted to remove judicial discretion for those who, quote, don't meet the middle-class criteria of susceptibility to rehabilitation.
They are beyond the pale, many of those people. They literally.
And look, check this out. Look, see this guy? This is Robert Byrd, right? This is Robert Byrd, right? He was a grand wizard of KKK. Now look who your boy with. Look who he's with. And this nigga got the nerve, right? Where's that? And he got the nerve to basically ask this guy or tell this guy he voted for 3 strikes. So what? You niggas voted for 3 strikes too if you voted Biden in. You knew what he did. And even before then, about Obama picking him as his running mate, nobody even questioned it that this nigga was fucking a racist bastard, man. And it's like he said, his son is a whole crackhead. Nobody, when Obama picked him as his running mate. So like I said, these are all plays, man. None of this stuff is done by design, bro. And then they pick these people and then convince you to vote for the same people who've been causing your demise, man. Do you know how many people the crime bill affected, bro? Do you know how many black families the crime bill affected? How many black children was fatherless as a result of the crime bill? Because yeah, there were some people who engaged in drugs, but there was also a lot of people who had drugs put on them, and they was falsely accused of stuff and got incarcerated by default because of the crime bill. And the crime bill had incentives for police officers, also police officers, judges, and prosecutors. And niggas voted this nigga, and nigga will sit there and tell you, oh, Trump, oh, look what he did with the Central Park 5. I lived when the Central Park 5 did that. Everybody thought the Central Park 5 was guilty. In fact, one of the boys and his father admitted to the guilt that he did it. Now, I know later on, right, I can't think of it's a white lawyer. That's Lil Wayne lawyer. I forgot her name. She's got the short haircut with the glasses, and she's married to a Black Panther, right? She was a lawyer for this I think he was Puerto Rican, this Puerto Rican brother who used to sell drugs, the Yellow Top crew in New York. She was the lawyer for him. He was locked up, and he was locked up with this other Puerto Rican dude who he said he admitted that he was the one that did that to the lady, the Central Park jogger. That's how they got exonerated, because of him and bringing that information to that lawyer, Lil Wayne lawyer. If you look up Lil Wayne lawyer, this lady, fat white lady with the glasses. I think she also represented one of the 9/11 terrorists, or the people that they put that terrorist incident on, right? She represented him too, right? But yeah. So these are the plays that your own people would do. This stupid motherfucker, he okay. Well, he not the white representative or the Republican. You're not gonna allow him to bring it up to the table. So won't you do it? Why are you sitting there antagonizing him about him trying to bring law or whatever? Whether you agree, you thinking he doing this, he has malice intent by doing this, or he's sincere. Why are you not bringing it forward? Why are you sitting up in there talking all this stuff, but y'all niggas voting on giving illegal immigrants or immigrants in California $150,000 for a fucking house? You can't make this shit up, man. You just can't make it up, man. You can't make it up. And like I said, once again, that's your boy, Robert Byrd. See him? Look, with Joe Biden. What is he doing with him? That's also Hillary Clinton also said that was one of her mentors, as well as Morgan Sanger. So we know who Morgan Sanger is. You can't finagle the story of who she is. She is who she is. We already know who she is, and we already know what she was involved in. We already know who she was involved in. All of these people, we already know. If you go back and check out the origin of white supremacy, we went on Gloria Steinem and how she was connected to the Rockefellers and the Chase and all of these Carnegies, and how also she was connected to the CIA. And then you also got the brother, the producer of Trading Places. Aaron Russo. Aaron Russo went on CNN and said the reason why they gave, he went in on CBC and said that he and one of the Rockefellers was good friends, and the Rockefeller told him that the real reason why they gave women rights was basically to disrupt the family, right? And then also because they was only able to tax half of the population. So all of these is fucking agendas and plays, man. It's always an agenda. And like I said, sure enough, there's an agenda by bringing all of these illegals here and by giving these people benefits, because as long as you give them benefits to stay here, they're being comfortable. You ain't had no, and like I said, why are all these sanctuary cities are ran by black mayors? Because they want you to think that the black, they're pro-black because they're not racist or they're not xenophobic. By letting other migrants here. Martin Luther King said it himself that illegal immigration itself is something that's going to ruin black family or ruin the Negro family. Why as soon as the Civil Rights Act was passed, why would they do the Immigration Act, the Hart-Celler Act, to bring in these other black immigrants and bring in other immigrants from so-called black countries and also Asian countries? Why? That's like spitting in his face. That's something he stood against. He stood against immigration. How you gonna give somebody else some rights before you? We've been fighting for rights all this time, or they've been fighting for rights all this time, or whatever, and then you come in and give somebody else rights, and you still have so the same time because you address this, then that means you're supposed to address some other. You ain't even give us a 20-year start for us to be able to get our feet on the ground, for us to be able to benefit from the fucking Civil Rights Act. Immediately you pass the Immigration Act. You think that was done by design, or you think that's a coincidence? Like I said, it's your boy right here. And this coon, right? Look, this coon. Look.
Black folks in prisons, but now you want to be a reparations. But you won't vote for the bill. I supported the bill all session.
Bring the bill.
Will you vote for the bill, Mr.
Bring the bill.
Will you vote for the bill?
Bring it up.
Will you vote for reparations?
Bring it up.
I would love it.
Bring it up.
Let's vote for reparations
Bring
together.
It up. Bring it up.
You in, Bill?
Bring it up.
I didn't think so.
Bring it up. I'll vote for it. Bring it up. I'll vote for it.
Now, see, he getting on his face, right? Mr. Isaac Bryan, that's your black caucus right there, right? Why you was trying to prevent him to put that bill up? What you standing by the podium for, sir?
We're changing.
Now, this video right here, I want you to hear that same guy that you just saw. Remember the bill they had, AB 1840 was the one to give $150,000 to the migrants for homes. Listen what this guy has to say about AB 1840. Pay attention. It's the same guy that's trying to stop the Republican, but when it comes to migrants, listen to him.
The definition of the fund currently, which uses the word alien. We're okay with leaving a no vote is saying that you are okay with this fund's eligibility staying what it is for qualified aliens. The author is trying to use humanizing language to make sure that when we develop programs that are called a California Dream for All, that they're humanizing and actually include everybody. Not just Mexican immigrants either. It's the home to the largest immigrant population from places around the world outside of the home countries. That's what makes California special. It's what makes my home, Los Angeles. Don't say who for Black folks, because when you talk about people who are unhoused, people who don't own homes. In fact, when I look across this floor and I'm seeing people who don't own homes, it's actually just a couple of us. I think about my siblings who are unhoused, and I understand that this should be a wedge issue. But I actually don't believe in a California future that doesn't include everybody. I believe that we can focus on our immigrant populations and care for native-born populations here in California. I believe that we can make amends for what we did to our indigenous populations when we committed genocide. I believe that we can pay the reparations and amends that are due to Black folks who lived in this state. And I believe that we can build a future that includes all of us. So I want to thank my colleague from Fresno for bringing this bill forward, and I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
If you see your state, you can register online to vote right now. It only takes 2 minutes.
All right, I'm going to get to what that is real quick on the screen there. Okay, so as you heard so eloquently, Mr. or Representative Isaac Bryan, he's up here advocating for the migrants. Yeah, you notice how they always got to bring us up in the conversation, right? But he's advocating and he's great to do that. But when it's time to do something for Black folk, he's not there to do that. Once again, what's the point of representation when that's a representation that we have? And when I had started talking about vote against blue no matter who, you know what the Shield said? The Shield's like, oh, well, California, every last one of them that.
And look, he got a list of the Black caucus that voted for that $150,000 law, whatever the law name of it is. And these are some of the people. So we got some people from California. If you vote locally like that, these are the people you don't want to vote for, because none of these people will sit there and talk like they care or they really have our best interest. But in all actuality, they don't care nothing. They haven't passed nothing for our people. Bringing in, you just heard my man talking about all of these immigrants or whatever. And see, that's the thing. They talk about us and then include these people. We never get nothing directly for our people, because it wasn't made to get nothing, because you are obsolete. They don't recognize you in law. They don't recognize you as a person or man or woman. They recognize the other people who came here and joined the legions and pledged allegiance to become, whether they citizens or, oh, I was born here, so I'm an American, etc. Right? These are the people who they truly fight for, and they know that ain't gonna have no status. The only people that's gonna come here and work and do as they told, while we have a problem because we're connected to the land and the ancestors is constantly in our ear. That's the reason why we go against, or we've always got a problem with stuff, because the ancestor is constantly, like how you see the devil on one shoulder and God on the other shoulder. The God part of the higher self will be your ancestors talking to you, and your ancestors telling you, we this is our land. We fought. They're subconsciously or they're spiritually communicating with us. That's the reason why all of us, we always have all these problems, and we always fighting, and we always fighting for certain things. But the other jokers, these people are dealing with the lower self. That motherfucker that they get showed, Brian, he dealing with the lower self, thinking that he's helping other people, but in all actuality, he's hurting his own people. He's hurting his own people. But look, check it out. If you're in California, these are the people. If you do vote, these are the people you don't want to fuck with.
Voted for the migrants. Once again, what's the point of representation when they're assisting other groups, but when we need something, they're mocking us? They're mocking us. Oh, you say in Virginia, September 20. All right, well, show up this month. Go ahead and get started early. What's the point? Now, we have to rethink this representation thing. We have to rethink it. Because for a long time, all this, you've been voting on skin color. That's okay to support people in the Black community. There's nothing wrong. But it can't just be skin color. It got to be the character of that brother. It got to be the character of that sister. Are they really down for the community like that? Are they? Your skin color don't make you down. Because clearly we got to see, think about it. The reason the Black community is where it's at, yes, you got racism, whatever, but let's call it what it is. How could Black people progress anywhere in America when you got people like that as your representation? Your representation that you wanted voted for because you say, hey, man, they Black like me. You know, they understand we all come from the same community, so they'll be fighting for the community, whatever. You would think in your mind they would fight for the community because, hey, if they fight for their community, it benefits their children, whatever. But see, that's not how they think. They think this: my wife, my husband is good, my children is good. I'm getting broke off. I'm getting my money. Hey, Gavin Newsom, you don't want them to get it? Okay, no problem with me. I'm getting mine. Forget them. Forget them. But
and look, even though I don't agree with Phil on a lot of shit, I don't agree with him on a lot of shit. He do put some decent content out sometimes that you can get game off of. Everything he gets said is the same thing I just said. This is how all of these Black political figures think. These niggas are fucking slaves, man. They are real slaves. They selling their people out for trinkets. The same story we hear about all of this other stuff. These are the same people who continuing to do the same shit. Selling your people out for trinkets. Look, I put the link out. I'm gonna rock it probably about up to 3 hours. So if anybody want to hit the link and come in and speak on some of this stuff, I got until about maybe 3:15 Eastern Standard Time. So if anybody want to come up and speak on any of this stuff that's being said, if you got something to share to the conversation, hit the link and you definitely can come on and build on it. But like this brother saying, and like I said, I don't agree with a lot of things he said or whatever. But a lot of these people, or at least one thing I can say now, is we starting to have a different conversation about Black Americans and how so-called immigrants, Black immigrants, come here and speak on our plot when they should keep their fucking mouth shut. You, just because you're in America, you should not be speaking on anything our ancestors did. In fact, our ancestors didn't actually get you here, but you were able to be here because of the fight that we fought. And I'm not saying we fought for these people to come here, but we made it calm for people who look like you to be able to walk down the street without getting lynched and killed. Period.
But when the other groups need something, hey, I vote for that. That's the sinister part of it. That's the sinister part. They're assisting other groups to get ahead of you. Then when these other groups are above you, no matter what group it is, the reason why they talk down to you like that, and the reason why they have no respect for you, why would you respect a group of people that have the most political power, because Black Americans have more political power in this country underneath white people. We have way more representation than Hispanics, Asians, Arabs, East Indians, whatever. All this representation, and we have gotten nowhere. We've gotten nowhere. We haven't gotten nowhere because people like Tiffany Henyard. That's why we don't get nowhere. Stealing the money, underhanding, sabotaging Black people so they could benefit. So they can benefit. They could care less about the Black community.
Peace. I got my brother Jersey up here. But I got another video that I'm gonna actually play of some of the people who was in that video, right? They actually did a live stream with this other brother, and they was talking on exactly what happened. I'm gonna play a little bit of that. I'm gonna let my brother Light man, what's up?
Hey, peace of the God, peace of the God. What's up, big bro? A1? Man.
What?
Yeah, they finally starting to wake up, man. You know, hopefully it ain't too late, but you know, they've been playing on us and pandering for too long, right? And you know, if I remember, I want to put the quote LJB, Lyndon B. Johnson. He said, "I have them niggas voting Democrat for the next 20 years." Remember that?
Yeah, exactly. So that was just a play. They like what they do. That's the same play with Albert Pike getting order out of chaos, right? Scottish Rite Freemasons, right? Order out of chaos, right? Chaotic situation with burning down the cities, so they basically vote. So now these people can put political figures in that which they train, right? Which they program, and then have them people speak in the best interest of the people, and the people fall because they see other Black representatives, not knowing that the worst thing you want, you can clearly hear what a person is saying. Are they for you or are they against you? If they're bringing in other immigrants, you'll never hear none of these Black people strictly talk about Black people, because that's not in their best political advantage, because they need all people to be able to vote for them, right? But then they want to include everybody into our plot, when these people, like the girl said, we've been waiting for this shit for 400 years in their mind. We know we've been here for eons. We've been here for millenniums, tens of thousands of millenniums, man. You understand what I'm saying? We didn't come from nowhere. But you got people believing that. But look, I want to play a little bit of this video right here, what the sister was saying. And then, like I said, if anybody else want to hit the link, you can hit the link. I'm going to rock out probably it's about 3:30. I may rock out for about another hour. But look, check it out. I want y'all to hear this.
Sad. You know, so for instance, I saw a tweet from Assemblymember Keela Weber.
Look, I put up in the Jumbotron, I know you ain't for everybody doing that news story, and I usually just put them in the purple pill, but this room and this action is a mandatory, y'all. If you haven't signed the reparations, if it ain't cash reparations, it's not reparations. If you haven't signed that petition, it's up in the Jumbotron. Please sign it. Also, on that, with that Jumbotron post, it's also pictured every single one of those treacherous Black Caucus members, California Black Caucus members. It's got their name under it, so we can really give them hell. So please, sign the petition. I ain't asking for no money. We ain't asking. This is a Negro Collective's petition, so it isn't me. It's all of us. We ain't asking for donations. We are simply asking for your signature. Please sign and put that forward. Sign and share. If you want to throw some money, of course, that'll get a lot more stretches with it and a lot more views. But all we need is as many signatures as we can get. So please sign the petition. But and look at those names and give them hell, y'all. Give those California Black Caucus treacherous. Let's give them hell. And let them know that what they did was treachery. And it truly was a literal knife in the backs of all of us. Even worse than that, the backs of our ancestors, the backs of the people that really did this work and built this country. So please sign that petition. Everything Sister Sean, I will agree and double everything Sister Sean said. And the time is now, y'all. We are waking up, and I am so glad to be in this collective of amazing American people searching for our just due. And I'll land right there, News Toter. Thank you for the space, brother.
Thank you. Shout out to my brother, that Negro. Y'all make sure y'all follow that Negro as well, too. Y'all follow that Negro. Camilla, she's up in the space. She must be having some issues connecting. Okay, I see her now. She's up in the speaker section. So shout out to Miss Moore. I know you have been having a very, 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 very hectic last couple of days. I was wondering, I said, with everything going, I hope she hadn't forgot that we had the space going on tonight, but I'm so glad to have you up in the space tonight. We got a couple hands, Miss Moore. I'm gonna go ahead and get to them, and then we'll go ahead and get to you. Black Vanguard, I'm gonna go ahead and let you.
Aspects that I thought was like real disturbing, and like where it says the residents of the Chavez Ravine in the form of relocation benefits. This is, I guess, some of the provisions that the SB 19, not SB, but AB 19 is willing to compensate that community for. So it says the city of Los Angeles must compensate non-land-only residents of Chavez Ravine in the form of relocation benefits, healthcare benefits, employment-oriented services, educational scholarships, or other forms of compensation deemed fair and equitable by the task force. And so I'm going to just go ahead and land there and let Ms. Moore go.
All right. Thank you, Callie. Appreciate that. Camilla, how you doing?
What they speaking on is what the actual reparation bill includes. And these are some of the people that was actually in that footage that was showed by Phil, that's talking on what their experience was when they went there and how they was treated. So I'm just going to let a little bit of this play so y'all can understand exactly what was really going on.
Tonight, I know you've had a really hectic schedule. I'm sure pretty recently. I know yesterday you were in a space as well too, I heard. So I know you've probably been jumping back and forth doing spaces, interviews, taking questions and everything else that you could. How you doing? I hope everything is well with you. I'm glad that for a second I said, well, maybe she forgot, she's been so busy or whatever, but I'm glad you were able to join us tonight. I hope everything is well with you. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. At first, I apologize for being late. I just had some things to do with some things that popped up with the family. So, but I apologize, and I'm here and I'm present. So, just happy to be in conversation with y'all about what's been going on.
Thank you. I just wanted to because everybody, what you've been definitely on ground level, ground zero there, and knowing everything that that's been transpiring and all the hard work that you and everybody else has done in terms of the reparation fight out there in California. Exactly, just because I'm out here in Florida and the Sacramento Observer, that's one of our curation partners. So, everything we get is, secondhand. We get it after everything's been published. Of course, I've been reading up on it and everything.
And also, look, donations is not mandatory. We can go through this whole bill, and I don't need a donation. But if you would like to donate to the channel, the Cash App is at the bottom. So let's continue.
Else, but what happened with everybody, doing the switcheroo? What happened? Well, I mean, you guys work so hard to get certain things put up there, and then when it's time to go ahead and, try to get into law and everything, then we it's like the old game show, change your heart. So exactly, and just in your opinion, in your words, tell us exactly what happened and with the cash payment and everything else. How did this thing just flip flop the way it did?
I don't want to live 9 to 5, paycheck to paycheck.
I wish I would have known this 20 years ago.
This is a hidden.
Well, I was on the task force, the reparations task force, and I was the chairperson of the task force. The task force had to comport with international human rights law standards when we were developing our recommendations. So, under international law, there's, I say this all the time, there's 5 forms of reparations, and compensation is definitely included. And we took that part very seriously about calculating potential compensation for descendants of slaves. We even hired 4 economists to help us crunch those numbers, including who you all probably know, Dr. William Garrity.
And see, I'm going to add this too, right? These people are still under the impression that their ancestors were slaves, despite the fact that we didn't show you massive different literature that showed you that it was free black people living in towns and living in cities and was living with resources and wasn't under no slavery way before some 1865. So the fact that everybody goes off of this, meaning that people subconsciously acquiesce to them being slaves. They really want to be in a victimhood mentality. You understand? They really want to be victims. And like I said, if we Indians or we Aborigines, in some way we are victims, right? But at the same time, we don't want to be victims like we're just some incompetent fucking people that can't get nothing done without these people allowing us to do it. You understand? We don't want to seem like we're incompetent. We're the gods and the goddesses. And when you truly know who you are and who you came from, then you can access the ancestry. You can access the information that the ancestors had. But you see, these people are still kind of mocking the ancestors by saying that we were slaves, and everybody up there haven't done their genealogy. And if they did do their genealogy, just the presence of their people being in America, they equate that with being from Africa, and then subconsciously they equate that with being a slave. Just the fact that their people is in America and they're black people, they're told that the black people in America came from Africa and these people were slaves. But then we see other stories. I don't went through them. I just showed emphatic information that's showing you that all black people, all so-called melanated people, weren't no goddamn slaves. And if these people wasn't slaves, then what did they do, right? What did they do for white people not to oppress them and not to put them in slavery and not to put them in bond? What did they actually do? And why was this only applied to a few people? Why was certain people applied or certain people allowed to be free and why certain people was allowed to be slaves? Ask yourself that fucking question, bro. Oh, these people were sellouts? And see, that's the first thing they would tell you. Oh, if you see black slave owners or whatever, they were sellouts for the white. Why would the way that they put it, white people hated black people. They hated us. But the reason they hated us because we put them in slavery. That's the reason for all the vitriol that we see that's coming from white people. They didn't want to go back in the condition that they was in. That's the reason why the race riots and the reason why they racist towards us, because they know who the fuck we are and they know what we did to them. That's the reason why they fucking racist. Because I don't see no racist person in the 1900s, the same racist person with the same racist views, allowing all these hundreds of thousands and millions of black people to be free without them going and oppressing them. It doesn't make no sense. You have to use your discernment at that point in time to say, wait a minute, man. We got black people living in every state in town. So the white man came and built the towns up for you, allowed you to live in it, or did you build the towns up? And then if you built the towns up, where did you access the skills for you to be able to do carpentry, brick mason, agriculture, etc. Where did you access these fucking skills from? Because I would rather be back then than have the mind state that we got now. You understand what I'm saying?
Hell yeah.
That's the reason why white people are racist against us, because of what we did to them. Because of what we did to them. That would be the only thing that makes sense. Because if you look into how motherfuckers are spitting on black people, sicking dogs, lynching motherfuckers, then how before 1865 you have black people who ain't go through none of that shit? You ain't got most of the lynchings that was done from 1865 until 1950. You understand? Most of the lynchings that was done. So where's the lynching stories that was done prior to that? Because either you was in control and these people were your subjects. It could not be both ways. Or these people were not racist like they said. So where did all of a sudden they just get these racist intentions from? They got freed and they remember the bondage that they was placed upon. They didn't see black men sliding up in these white women. So you got jealousy, you got resentment, you got envy, all balled up into one bunch, and that what equals Jim Crow, and that's what equals racism, and that equals them writing your history and also using prominent black people who look like you to basically control your views and control your political mind state. And this is where we at today. So I'm gonna get a little bit more into this, and I'm about to cut it.
So I just want to be clear that the task force itself, definitely recommended compensation specifically to descendants of American slaves. However, our only power was advisory. So we were a legislative advisory body. Our only power is to advise the state legislature on the types of proposals that they should turn into legislation, and then that produce should sign into law. And so the task force has been over for about a year now. And so we essentially passed the baton to the state legislature, where the California Black Legislative Caucus, took the initiative to, introduce reparations bills based on, the task force's work. They chose not to introduce a direct cash payments bill for this legislative session. So I know that was kind of a long answer, but I kind of wanted to provide clarity around the piece that you asked about cash payments, and why there's no direct cash payments bill this particular legislative session. Will there be the next legislative session? Hopefully, maybe. We'll see. I say hopefully, but it's dependent in part on the California Legislative Black Caucus. And so in terms of what happened this past Saturday, there's a short story and there's a long story. The short story is that 10 Black elected officials in the assembly betrayed the entire Black American community, betrayed their longtime colleague, Senator Stephen Bradford, but really betrayed the trust of the entire Black American community, not only in this state, but nationally as well, because we know California was the first state in the nation to do this work. We beat the federal government in doing this work. And so what we did in California is supposed to reverberate in it throughout the state and throughout the country, and it has.
Runes loads a complete serving of fruits, veggies, adaptogens, vitamins, minerals, super mushrooms, prebiotics, and antioxidants like organic kale, spirulina, broccoli, beet, lemon, apple, tomato, blueberry.
I'm a bit emotional because, like you said, I personally put in a lot of time and sacrifice.
Well, I don't want you to feel like it's your fault, so don't feel like it's your fault.
No, I don't feel like it's my fault. It's not even tears of frustration more than sadness, because these 10 members could not put aside their own self-interest and ego over the needs of their community. I'll go into more detail, but essentially, Senator Stephen Bradford, who served on the task force with me,
And like I said, look, this nigga Gavin Newsom was going to lose, right? he was going to I guess they was going to put his ass out of office, right? And then that's when they formed this reparation task force to collect data. Remember, I don't know if you guys remember, a couple years ago, they were saying, oh, well, we need to collect data to understand why reparations should be allotted to the people and all this, that, and the third. So they collected data, and they have I guess documentation of all of the data they collected, right, over the last couple of years to substantiate the reason why reparations should be awarded, right? So this is what the young lady is talking about at this point in time. And like I said, we know better, but we do know that there should be some address or grievances that we have that should be addressed for what was done. And like I said, and it could be just after the 1800s into going into the 1900s, going from 1900s all the way into right now, because we still going through stuff. We still being brainwashed. We still being manipulated. We still being, you know what I'm saying, our population is still dwindling as opposed of an eclectic amount of strategies that has been placed to keep us at a certain population, you know what I'm saying, percentage when it comes to the population. There's so many different plays that come into it. And like I said, abortion is just one of them. Drugs is another one. Crime, you know, gangs, and, you know, us killing each other. There's so many different things that goes into us doing what we doing. So definitely understand that, man. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, you know, we sit here and, you know, everybody want to be, you know, everybody want to be clout chasers. And the biggest problems we have in our community, is the people who put information out, right? But at the same token, we got real things going on, and I don't see too many people addressing this stuff. I don't see too many people. And now, like I said, I seen last couple of days, there's a couple brothers that addressed it, right? You know what I'm saying? Shout out to them. But overall, you know what I'm saying, too many people is occupying themselves these petty ass differences, right? Petty ass reasons to why people need to be banging against each other, right? But right up under our feet, this is the real talk, and this is what's really going on. And nobody is pushing these so-called these political or addressing our political problems or the problems that we supposed to have as Aborigines. Like, this is something that we all supposed to come together and try to push, not just you know on YouTube, but also in reality, we supposed to be pushing this stuff. Some people pushing it, but their approach at it is ineffective. It's not effective because these people are not recognizing these grievances that's being addressed to them. You know what I'm saying? And even among the fact that people's status is being classified as black, right? I want to show y'all something real quick, right? Let me show y'all something real quick if I can. Let me see. Let me see. Yeah. Do the whole entire screen. Well, why the hell? Oh, I gotta click this. Then click that. All right. So look. So this is something that we presented with Amani. Amani actually gave me, right? So this is a dude named Avis Smith, right? He's the plaintiff, right? Now check this out. This is a plaintiff. This was filed September 15, 1994. To the clerk of the U.S. District Court, District of Columbia, right? And this is basically, so it's a memorandum and order. It said, upon consideration, the motion to acquire services of complaint of defendant Elderlin and the plaintiff, opposition thereto, defendant Elderlin motion is hereby granted, right? It's saying defendant. Now listen to this. Defendant Jesse Jackson has moved to dismiss the complaint. Herein, the plaintiff has opposed his motion. defendant correctly point out that the plaintiff have not alleged any duty on the part of either defendant to plaintiff. Plaintiff has alleged no facts that would support a claim against either defendants under either the, listen, check it out, either the Civil Rights Act of 1964 or the Administrative Procedure Act, nor has the plaintiff alleged any other legal theory that would warrant recovery by plaintiff against either defendant. No legal duty appears to be owed to the plaintiff by either defendant, nor has any legal duty has breached by either defendant. Accordingly, the complaint fails to state a claim upon which relief can be granted. Now check this out. Defendant Jesse Jackson motion to dismiss is hereby granted. Moreover, since it appears beyond the doubt that the plaintiff can prove no set of facts in support of any claim that would entitle, let me see something. All right, so that would title him to relief. Hold on for a second. That would title him to relief. Plaintiff complaint against defendant Elderlin is dismissed. Sua Sponti or something. I can't pronounce that. It's saying in this country where freedom of speech is prized, general use of term African American by defendant cannot be deemed to violate any legal cognizable right of the plaintiff. This case now stands dismissed without prejudice. Now check this out. Now, so this is the guy right here. This is the dude, Avis J. Smith, right? This is his claim, right? Hold on for a second. Go ahead, Bill, real quick. I gotta take this phone call.
Yeah. Yeah, so when that brother in the video, I would say about 2 videos ago, mentioned that we was the most influential people when it comes to politics, I think he was referring to the voting bloc. But when he say that black is the most influential people of the voting bloc, he's talking about African Americans, Islanders, Spanish people, anybody that's considered colored or black, people of color, which basically isn't any people that's white. And sometimes you could throw the JEU up in there, right? So what's going on is nobody's calling out how specific we need to make the quote unquote Aborigine, except maybe Tariq Nasheed, but he believes that they come from Africans. So his argument, it gets kind of cut down right there. And allegedly, he is funded by the JEUs too, the JEWs too. Allegedly. Because whenever asked about it, he never denies it. People have asked many times, wait, aren't you getting paid by the JEWs? And he said, he'll never answer flat out, no, I'm not. Right? So, and he spearheaded the whole reparations movement. So if there was any reparations to be given out, a lot of people would be giving it. Why? Because black encompasses everything and everybody. It don't just encompass us inside the middle inner cities, or us that been here for so long, and us that so-called fought for civil rights and all these things. It encompasses all these other people. And again, that's how we the biggest voting bloc. So if all these people are part of the voting bloc, the immigrants, the migrants, and all these other foreigners, why wouldn't they want to put Kamala in office to let their families up in this mug? Right? They say the more immigrants, the more the country is built up. However, it's at the expense of us losing opportunities and options. We can't afford to lose any more than what we have lost. And voting Democrat has been shooting us in the foot for the longest, right? And that's why we can't go for nobody that panders to us. And the Republican office refuses to pander to us.
Peace of the God. What's up, bro? You hear me? What's up?
Who that? Nonetheless.
Like, man, what's up? Yeah, what's up, bro? I'm here. Yeah.
What's good, bro? I mean, get it in real quick. I mean, I was getting it in, but go ahead.
Bro, while you were speaking, right? You brought
real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Real quick. Peace to God, nonetheless. Let me just read this last thing so I can explain exactly what it is, and then you can go right after I present it, nonetheless. So look. All right, so look, check this out. So this is a civil cover sheet, right? This is, I don't want to read all this, but this is basically a lawsuit, right? From Abe, the plaintiff is Avis J. Smith. The defendants are Ramonda H. Elderlin and Reverend Jesse Jackson, right? Now let's get into what's the reason for the complaint. Now look, it said cause of action, diversity of citizenship. It's saying USC 28 section 1332 Civil Rights Act of 1964. It's saying USC 1975 Discrimination in Public Accommodations Administrative Procedure Act, right? It's saying now listen to this. It says the problem of so-called blacks and African Americans, leader renaming black people against their will. Nigga, like, come on, man. Listen, my dude, y'all already know this to God, man. Y'all already know, I've been, look, I done dropped, like my man told me.
Hold on, read it again. Read it again, man.
I'm gonna read it again. I already tell y'all to drop the mic. And shout out to my brother Monty Bay, man. When it comes to, go ahead.
A1, real quick, because I agree. I'm with y'all. I want you to read again, but you gotta notice the one phrase in that kills. They ain't gotta go no further, but go to the Accommodation Administrative Act. That's the whole key to that whole lawsuit is about. That's their defense. It's the Accommodation and Administrative Act, bro. And I think when people read these things, they don't key in on the key words in that. That right there kills the whole thing where you have no defense. So that's what I want people to really, if you're a researcher, like because I've been around the community, I can key in on words, and that's what I read, because I'm like, damn, they dropping gems while everybody looking around like, oh, what are they talking about? Nigga, I keyed in on what you said. I never heard that act before. So
check it out.
But I know what it is. I know what it is.
This is the dismissal. Look. What I read first was the dismissal, right? This is basically him dismissing it, right? So it says what we says right here, right? What the fuck is that? Right. It says, look, it says him to relief plaintiff complaint against defendant Elderlin is dismissed. It's saying this country where freedom of speech is prized, general use of African American by defendant cannot be deemed to violate any legal right of the plaintiff. Right now, check this out. So this is the second one. This is the first. This is his first lawsuit right here. It says cause of action. When you write a lawsuit, you have to put the cause of action and how they violated you, right? So it's a diversity of citizen, USC 28 section 1332 Civil Rights Act of 64, US 1975 Discrimination in Public Accommodations Administrative Procedure Act. It says, now look, this is what his problem is, and this is what his cause is, right? The problem of so-called blacks and or African American leaders renaming black people against their will. Okay, this is the original lawsuit that Avis J. Smith filed, right? This is the original lawsuit that he filed, and this is basically this is 1994. Is it 1994? Let me see. I believe it was 1994. Let me see. Right here, hold up. Yeah, it's right here. It was filed April 12, 1994. It's filed April 12, 1994. And this is the reason why I told you can't sue them for call, because you have a right to you have a right to self-claim who you are. So they can't, and see the wording that they used in it, right? The wording that they use in this country where freedom of speech is prized, general use of the term African American by defendant cannot be deemed to violate any legal cognizable rights of the plaintiff. It said the case now stands dismissed with prejudice. Okay. And this was dismissed they dismissed this shit fast. Normally it takes a while for them to dismiss shit. This was dismissed, you figure May, June, July, August, September, 4 months later, 9/14/94. They dismissed this shit fast. They didn't allow this to be in court for a long time. A lot of times when they do shit like this, now he could have filed the another claim, or claiming that they, you know what I'm saying, he could have went into a little bit deeper for it to be heard a little longer. But like I said, eventually it would have got dismissed because of the fact that you don't have to be under these people terminologies, or you don't have to be under their terms. That's basically what they're saying. And this is what, like, so when you use shit like this of you suing the government by saying that, oh, they classified us black and all this, that, and the third, you have a right not to be black. Now, once
and you know what else though, A1? We've been fighting this for a long time. This is proof that we've been opposing that stuff for a long time. The rename, reclassification, we've been doing that for a long time. So when people say, "Oh, we never stood up, we ain't doing nothing," this been going on probably even before the 90s.
But listen how he said it though. It says the problem of so-called blacks and or African American leaders renaming them black people against their will, meaning they ain't had no say so in none of these classifications being applied to them.
Right, but bro, this the issue, because what was that act called? The Accommodation Administrative Act or whatever. Now that act, when you look it up, right, people gotta understand this. That administrative issue is a big issue that I think our leaders don't really, and people don't really teach or try to learn about. Because what's going on is this: if you allow someone that you say is your leader to put a name on a group of people who are nameless, right? That's the only name that we can use. So if you don't have anything else better, or if you're not organized within your own nation or your own people to handle the administrative duties of your people, then you acquiesce into the United States becoming your trustees over your abandoned estates or the seats that you no longer are organized under. That's why it's important when you got tribes and people criticize the Moorish Science Temple, but that's what the whole thing of the administration that Prophet Noble Drew Ali put down for people to come into, where you didn't have to have any outside administrators administrating your state or who you was. You feel what I'm saying? So now,
and that's go ahead.
But look, I want to go into what Lightman was saying about the black term. Now, the black term is deemed this after the 14th Amendment, after the Organic Act, when they created the 13th and 14th Amendment, they allow people under a different term to become citizens, other than white. So now,
check this out. Oh, but check this out real quick. Let me just go ahead, because we're going back and forth. So don't lose some. So listen. So check this out. So under the UNDRIP. And this is what I emphatically read, right? I emphatically read this shit all the time, right? So UNDRIP, Article 2, indigenous people and individuals are free and equal to all other people, and individuals have the right to be free from any kind of discrimination in exercising their rights that are based on their indigenous origin or identity. Now look, Article 8. Indigenous people and individuals have the right not to be subjugated to forced assimilation or destruction of their culture. So even when you read this right here, right, because a lot of people are suing them for the false classifications, when you have a right, once you declare who you are emphatically, and they continue to put these terminologies on you, then you have a lawsuit.
Right.
You understand? Right. So once you declare, once you if you acquiesce to it, then they got you. But once you declare that you are not Negro, black, or color, or African American, and you go by what I just said, indigenous people and individuals have the right not to be subjugated to forced assimilation or destruction of the culture.
Right. But you got to be organized under a different classification or different entity, and then communicate that they are no longer the trustees over your people and in that name. What is your name? Okay, we're going to use this, and this is what your people are named under. Because the reason why I was bringing that forth about what Light Man was saying, the term black after the Civil War, right? After that Organic Act, now they got people tethering, because basically, if you want to call yourself black or anything else other than white before the 14th Amendment, you are actually a tether within the United States system. Because because before you had to be classified as white. It ain't had really nothing to do with your skin color. Everybody was either white if they was a citizen or non-white. But what happened after that? They started letting these other classifications. But if you want to go back to the main issue, the main foundational of the United States. You want to talk about foundation Black America? Let's talk about the foundation of white America. That is the United States classification system, which is only white people. So therefore, when they let you come in as 14th Amendment, the black is now a tether. And if you want to call people tethered, you a tether onto the United States system. When all of the niggas or the Indians or Moors or whoever who had their own system was running shit under their own administration. You feel what I'm saying? So if you don't have an administration or body politic out of the United States, you feel what I'm saying? Then the United States were like, well, we're your trustees. So now you got to compensate us for handling your business that you don't have on the other side, on the private side within your own nation. You abandoned your nation and came to us. You feel what I'm saying? So now we're going to classify you, and of course they're going to put you lower than white. Fuck you talking about white supremacy? That's their shit. They was coming in as foreigners. Why are you going into a foreign system? That's why we keep saying you're foreign to the United States, dummies. So stop all this other shit, nigga, with this tether shit. Because you call yourself black, you a tether. You a tether to the United States.
Bullshit. None. I gotta get you some blister cream. You done burnt your fingers in the kitchen cooking so hard, man. You know what I'm saying? I done called the ambulance, they ain't pick up. I'm gonna deliver some blister cream to your address. Drop your address in the back chat, your private chat. Word up.
No, bro.
So check this out.
But I got that from you, Light Man, when you was cooking. I was like, oh shit, he killed. I was like, Light Man cooking, because basically what you saying is, nigga, you black, you a tether.
So what does this say, right? Even dealing with this, and a lot of people get this mixed up and don't understand that this was a universal law among all Aborigines, right? They think that even the Iroquois Confederacy was some different nation. All of these nations was tied into each other. I know that they got literature that would tell you otherwise, but when you really do the knowledge, all of these nations was all connected. And see, people do themselves a lot of they pretty much do themselves how the fuck I want to word this, they kind of fuck up by taking a lot of this literature that we read in literally, right, or verbatim, right, and not understanding exactly what's going on, right? So look, we got land titles, we got wampum number 72, law of ownership. The soil of the earth from one end to another is the property of the people who inhabit it by birthright. The original beings are the owners of the soil, which they own and occupy, and none other may hold it. The same laws have been held from the oldest fucking times, right? It said the legal opinion is that the natives of America, remember, not Native Americans, but natives of America, right, were the first humans on this land, autochtons, aborigines, right? They originated in the land. They live and occupy, and no foreigner has the right to take over the land. The so-called conquest of America is simply a barefaced robbery of Indian land. Okay? So it's like when you really understand, like even what we just said, it says the great creator has made us one blood and the same soil he made us. And as only different tongues constitute different nations, has established different hunting grounds and territories and made boundary lines between them. It said each nation has a boundary line to stay within. Also, no race of people has a God-given right to invade other races. Okay? So, but we already know, like even with the word America originally applied to the Aborigines or copper color races, but now applies to Europeans born in America, because that's the only way that they can come up under the terminology of America by default, claiming that they are Americans and they're no longer foreigners. So it's like it's a lot of shit, man, that people don't really understand. That I've been putting out there for a long time. And I've been trying to tell people, man, you know, you can go ahead. A lot of people got their favorite YouTubers or whatever. And like I said, a lot of people, y'all got issues with me because I say I'm a Moor. And y'all don't understand why I say it. Like, y'all think I'm a foreigner by me saying I'm a Moor. And this is the problem that I have been having with a lot of people. I got so many videos of me saying Indians or Aborigines or Tanchan, to the point that where people had went on a campaign to basically fucking to say I'm not an Aborigine. You know what I'm saying? So like at the end of the day, I've been fighting from the Aborigines. I've been A1 from fucking day one. And I've been putting the same information out from day one. Along with a lot of other information that people regurgitate. And it's cool because the information is out there for the people. So I don't care, but I just don't like how people way of going about doing certain things, of how to make themselves relevant, they have to make you unrelevant. And we all can exist at the same time, because I'm always going to be relevant. Whether if I don't do another video for another year, I'm always going to be relevant. I done been dropped the mic when it came to this and let other people pick the mic up. So at the end of the day, we just saying it for ourselves. Even with the shit that's going on, or how these people putting other people before us, how even the classification of Black and African American, you have people fighting, and how the so-called courts has deemed you have deemed you to be able to, what we say, indigenous people and individual have the right not to be subjugated. So subjugated would be my man claim right here, right? This claim right here, right? So this would make him subjugated, right? The problem of so-called Blacks and African-American leaders. See, first of all, when you feel like you got a leader, but I understand what the brother's saying, because there's so many people who look up to these people, and these people are disingenuous, and these people are deceiving the people by putting these statuses and renaming people against their freaking will. Because we got plenty of literature that shows you Black people had a problem with being called Black. And like a lot of times when you condition lies, when you condition to accept certain things, like at one point in time, a lot of the stuff we see that we conditioned to, right? Niggas killing each other, some of this degenerate shit that we see from, you know, I'm not gonna say, you know, from some of the females as well as some of the niggas, right? At one point in time, you know, like even cussing, you couldn't curse in front of your family. Your grandmother put soap in your mouth. You couldn't curse like that. You understand? You couldn't curse like that. Now everybody cursing like a seller. And I know I curse like a seller, but it is what it is, or whatever. But yeah, at one point in time,
A1, cursing is not conservative, right? And conservative is usually tied to Republican, which the so-called alleged us people created, right? So when you know, grandma, grandpa, and them didn't want you to curse in front of them, not only was out of respect, and it was against the conservative, the Republican way. You see what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't in us to do certain things, but now the Democrats are saying, listen, curse. We think y'all curse. We think y'all love cursing. We think y'all love twerking. We think y'all love being degenerate, drinking, smoking. You know, y'all love where y'all at, so we gonna put that in front of your face to get your vote. That's flat out mockery and disrespect. If I looked at you, A1, and say, you know what, you ain't nothing but a weed smoking, drinking, twerk, you love chicks that twerk, you just degenerate. You know, you should vote for me, because if you like how life is being degenerate, vote for me, man. I hope you be more degenerate. You know what I'm saying? And you know, that brings me to that question, A1. Are you going to vote? And nonetheless, are you going to vote?
Nah, I ain't voting. but I got my reasons why. Because usually when you vote, right? When you vote, you're coming into the not just a U.S. citizen, but you got to most of the time you got to report for jury duty. You get put on that list. So I mean, I ain't saying I'm not against voting, but I only voted twice in my whole life, bro. Twice.
I don't know. Hey, Smoke, I don't know if that was for me. I'm reaching, but I mean, if it was for me, you could hit the link and explain how I'm reaching. I don't know. Maybe you was talking to somebody in the chat room, but yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, like we see people fought against these statuses. People wasn't just acquiescing to these statuses and letting people call them out their name and black and Negro and African American and all this stuff. So like I said, and even like with the representation that people fall up under, a lot of people fall up under these representations and need a leader. I lead myself. So I don't need like having a leader or what kind of third dimensional being would you be to say you have someone leading you?
Yeah,
you
but
can't lead yourself. Go ahead.
But A1, people try to survive, right? If you in a pack full of people, when you try to survive, you try to assimilate with the so-called people that look like you. So you say, you're black just because everybody else saying they black. You see what I'm saying? You don't want to give up your black card, because if you give up your black card, now you're an outcast. You saying you indigenous? You don't, in their minds, they're gonna say, "Oh, he think he one of these Native Americans. He's like the enemy. He's not one of us. So we can't really rock with him. We can't
That's
get
why
the benefits."
So what is the first step? Oh, he was talking to you. Like, man, I guess
I already know he was talking to me. He always think I'm reaching.
But you know what? You know what though, Smoke? Kind of none of this stuff is common. It's popular speech. This stuff that we talking about, if we go in a room full of black or African Americans, none of this stuff is popular speech. We will always get challenged, and people will always accuse us of reaching with the stuff that we saying, because a lot of people, some people are like, how you say, you can't teach old dog new trick type shit, right? And then some people are conditioned because they was told, look at the mind control that they play on us. Your ancestors couldn't read, right? So now that you are able to read, every piece of literature that you read that you can source up, or you think that's a source, then you can use that to validate what you're saying, right? And it can't be, it could be refuted, right? But then a lot of times, a lot of these refuted arguments are subjective, right? They're subjective. And they're subjective without discernment, right? See, people are presenting unpopular speech to people who have never heard it, and people are not using discernment. Some people are just not on the frequency that other people are on. And it's like even us as Aborigines and Indians, we're all not on the same frequency, and that's cool, and that's okay. And like I said, through my journey, I've learned. I just had to just look at it like, some people, they allow certain views and literature, and even when you present to them literature that's uncommon, right? That's not subjective, but that's objective, right? People still sit there and still disagree with you, right? Because the worst thing what a person want to do at this point in time is feel like they've been wrong about something that they've been saying for a long fucking time, right? And it's like, and that's when like the fight or flight thing go into play, right? Because now people are basically, their ego is telling them that, no, don't let this nigga can't be your teacher. You're a grown ass man. You can't allow this nigga to teach you nothing. You're a grown man. That's the ego talking to you. Which is the lower self. And that basically is what like causes division even amongst us. There's so many different things out here that divide us, even as Aborigines. But one thing I can say is this, right? The first step to knowing this shit is knowing that if it was already black people in America, right? And the black people saying they Indians, right? And they're not Africans, right? Which we already seen literature time and time again that suggests that the so-called people that we call Indians or Aborigines are Negroes or what we can, because we know that Negro, colored, black, African American, etc. is all the same. These are all classifications that have been applied to us under the jurisdiction that we acquiesce to. So at the end of the day, we know it was Negroes here. No one has a count, even the people who have done the populations of America. Some people say 120, 112 million people occupied the Americas before 1492. And out of them, we look at the areas, and then we could come up with a reasonable explanation and understanding to who we are. So that's the first thing, that it was black people in America. There was no Africans here. So if it was black people in America, then that would by default make us Aborigines at the minimum, right? At the minimum, we would be Aborigine to this land, because we can't account on no European coming with their philosophies to convince us that we are foreigners or we came here on a slave trade. So from that perspective alone is what helped build a lot of perspective to where people started trusting their genealogy, right? Because see, people think that this is like, oh yeah, my grandma told me, your grandma been told you that, and you ain't listening to shit. Only now you starting to say, well, yeah, I'm an Indian, because now you got people like me and you got people like other brothers and sisters in the community that's providing evidence that our people was already here. Prior to that, Africans mixed with Indians. Jack Forbes is questionable at this point in time, because he claiming he's an Indian and he's a white man. You understand? So it's like, you know, people saying that the only reason why the so-called Indians are dark skinned because they mixed with Africans, but it was already black people here, right? And this is what strengthens your genealogy. So genealogy is the key, but genealogy is just not the only key, because also if people wasn't presenting evidence that it was black people here, people would still be African Americans and still be thinking they black. Respectfully, I'm not saying everyone, but I'm saying just from a small lens, right? Most people will be under or subjected under that rhetoric by default, because we're told that Africans mix with Indians, and that's the reason why we're Indians. But then we're not told that a lot of these people that you're calling Africans are really Aborigines, and these people been inhabiting the Americas for millenniums. What y'all say? What y'all got to say about that, light man and nonetheless?
You got it, none. I've been hogging the mic.
Yeah, I was listening to you, bro. I was doing something, but I think that the whole thing with our people, especially in this country, is that they don't understand what we're dealing with, bro. And that's just what I'm on, bro. I think whatever you said, everything you said was valid, bro. You know what I'm saying?
But even a lot of times, our people been telling us that we was Indians, right?
Right.
Yeah, but they've been saying that we was Cherokee, and Cherokee is not specific. It's not specific. You know, it's a conglomerate. It go back to Anyawea. It go back to Cherokee. Some people say Cherokee, right? Cherokee or something like that. Like, this is why we got to get specific with these terms, and everybody got to identify the right way, because once we don't do that, then it allows everybody to assimilate with us and then try to make rules for us with our so-called enemies that quote-unquote oppress us, right? So we got to be specific with everything. Indian is not specific. That ain't specific. If you say you Indian, somebody might think you from New Delhi over there across the seas over there in Asia.
That's
right. We got to be specific with everything that we do. That's why we in the boat we in now, and people is going to be coinciding with signing off on the destruction of our families by voting for Kamala Harris. Kamala, the name Kamala is actually a Middle Eastern name that's real common over there. You know what I'm saying? It's pronounced Kamala. That's why Trump always called her Kamala, right? And when you look at her father, he only 25% Islander or Jamaican or whatever. He only 25%. Her mother's a whole Middle Eastern, So what percentage of her is quote unquote American? Nothing, right? So and then she said, shut out her mouth. I'm not gonna do anything for black people. No. She said, just like that. She said, if y'all think if I'm gonna do something specific for black people, no. Same thing Obama did. He ain't do nothing. And then hold on, let me keep going. Let me keep going. So Trayvon Martin, all of them, that all started with Obama and all of that, right?
Hmm?
You know what I'm saying? Like, look, is she for abortion and stuff? And abortion promotes promiscuity, which promotes the destruction of the nuclear family, right? So, and then she want to open up the borders. And now we got the Colorado microcrisis. We got the stuff up there in Boston, Massachusetts, where the people they gotta take their kids to school because all the migrants and illegal immigrants get a ride on the yellow bus before the kids do, right?
Yep.
And see when all this stuff get passed and she become president, guess who they're gonna be pointing a finger at? Yo Aborigine ass, because they gonna say you voted for her, right?
They didn't convoluted us.
One more last thing. I got you. My bad. One last thing. I'll land right here. Kamala Harris is inside a witch coven called the Wing, along with Hillary Clinton, Stacey Abrams, and a lot of other other people like that. And they actually believe in certain rituals. Look up the Wing. A1, you can pull it up if you want to. It's called the Wing. It's a popular witch coven. And so y'all gonna put a witch that don't really rock with you. That's gonna put what's her name that be twerking Megan Thee Stallion, pick Quavo in front of you. Like they think that you ain't shit. They really think you a hood degenerate person, and they gonna try to get your vote like that. You see what I'm saying? And they a witch too. Is this what you are? Is this what you want in office, or is this what you want to promote inside your neighborhood? Then go ahead and be for her. My bad. A1, go ahead.
But if you allow someone like Meg Thee Stallion to dictate, like Meg Thee Stallion is only good for entertaining people. She's not good at being no leader or someone that has moral values that's conducive to your family. So you should never allow no woman like her to come along and then persuade your family, or like her intent, like we supposed to be trusting her. You can't trust no woman like her. You can't trust even a nigga like Quavo. You can't trust a joker and just the fact that they will play on your intelligence by bringing forward someone like that. That go to show you exactly what they think of you. They think you are stupid. And the fact that somebody think that you stupid is that's a whole nother problem. You understand what I'm saying? Thinking that all I need to do is bring these people forth or whatever. But like I said, we already know, most people understand, like her track record alone. Like, listen, we already lived 4 years up under Trump or whatever. And like I said, a lot of stuff that went up under when Trump was in office was a lot of stuff that was orchestrated. A lot of these Black Lives Matter campaigns where they was going and burning cities and all this shit. A lot of that shit was orchestrated. That shit was orchestrated to make us think that a lot of these people are white supremacists. Like I said, man, at the end of the day, bro, we gotta wake up. We have to know exactly who we are. You know what I'm saying? A lot of this stuff, like these little YouTube wars where people go back and forth and try to expose each other and all this shit. I ain't with none of this stuff, man. I ain't with none of that. That's why I still remain private and still, I still move the way I move, because I know that a lot of people ain't trustworthy. You let a lot of people into your circle, people only get in your circle to infiltrate you, and then later on they talking about you. I ain't really with a lot of that shit. I'm with this right here. We're just putting the information out there and allowing the people to have some discernment, and you decide for yourself. You understand what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, man, I ain't here to be no leader. I ain't here to be going back and forth with some of these frivolous ass arguments that we hear on YouTube. I ain't here to be yelling back and forth with no Pan-Africans any longer. I'm tired of that shit, bro. It's back to getting back to putting quality information out there so that the people can learn. We can't learn from nobody who always in opposition to us, a Pan-African that's always come up here playing our intelligence, telling us that we're wrong or we don't know what the fuck we talking about, because they pulling the same fucking sources from the same agents that, just like we get seen a nigga Bryant and how he blocked the reparation shit. A lot of people that was in charge of a lot of these educational institutions, the John Henry Clarks and a lot of these other people that came, we already see who they was being funded by. And follow the trail of money, and you'll understand the same people who was funding Morgan Sanger, the same people who funded Gloria Steinem, the same people who funded the war on drugs, the same people who funded this whole rap industry. Counterintelligence, the same fucking people. And the whole intelligence campaign has been orchestrated to convince us and to derail who the fuck we are. Because like I said, everything is rotten, man. Listen, you know, when you dealing with these people, I just told you one of the reasons why they hate you. They hate you because you was in charge of them. These people were subjects to us. They have no origins or no history. They got to take your history and then put your history as someone who was captured and brought over here on the bottom of a slave ship, which we've been debunked that, which doesn't make any fucking sense. So I got to slide, man. I got to get up out of here, man. But shout out to everybody in the chat room. Definitely peace to the guys, man. Peace to the goddesses, man. I'll be back. I don't know, probably next week we're gonna do something on the northeast tribes, showing you that, you know, not all black people came from the south as we was told or whatever, showing you that you had tribes in the north of so-called melanated copper colored people that been living in the northern hemisphere of North America for eons. So shout out to that. Nonetheless, you got something you want to say before I pull up out of here?
No, yo, I mean, you was cooking, bro. I was just looking at some things because I'm on some Thurgood Marshall shit right now. So I'm that's what I was looking when you had called me up, because you asked me to respond. I was actually looking at this stuff, something on Thurgood Marshall. You know, he from Baltimore, so I got to do something on him. You know
and if anybody want that documentation, you could email me. Anybody want that proof, you could email me at chiefoftonton@aol.com and I'll send it over to you guys, so just so that you can have it in your personal record. So definitely email me and I'll forward it over to you guys so you can
got
have
the one on Martin Luther King too. I mean, not Martin, on Alex Haley when he got sued too, right?
Oh yeah, for the 650,000.
Yeah, I gotta email you on that. I got it. Armani Bay sent it to me, but I can't, for some reason I can't find that shit. But I'll look for it again.
Don't worry about it. You need it, man. You know what I'm saying? Anytime, you can always hit me up, bro. Anytime.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit you up, yo. I'll be running around. But bro, the whole thing was Thurgood Marshall, for real. People need to know that he was a Republican. So when you talk, he was the first so-called Negro Supreme Court justice, for anybody that didn't know, and he was a Republican. So you got to keep that in mind about who our people was. And it was a real interesting interview that I recorded, where he was talking about how the South, most of what they did was in the 60s, what they did, they kind of brought the churches into the United States jurisdiction. And once you had the South, and you infiltrated all the churches in the South, you had all the Negroes in the South. You know what I'm saying? But they had to be members. So you got to understand that these churches, through their membership, acquiesced into the United States to be classified as something else outside of the administrative. That's why that Accommodation Administrative Act is important for people to research that, because what they're saying is they accommodating the Negroes and administrating their duties under the United States. The presidents, you know how you see the Obama administration, the Trump administration, the Bush administration, because they're administrating the citizens that comes in to the United States, and they're bonding them. So people that ignore that, you're not on the right path to understand what the United States and what administrative duties are when you abandon shit. That's why when you look at that definition, you brought up A1 about how the whites are now classified as what they say, Negro, Indians and shit, or
And
oh
now
no,
you're
American.
America, but just by saying you're an American is basically saying that you're not autochton, that
I'm
you
just
got
saying
the
this.
rights of the Indian people, right? Just by claiming to be an American, there's only one American here. But just by
Right.
claiming to be us is
Now,
by them saying that they are autochtons and they are the
right.
rightful heir owners of the land.
Right, but A1, you know what that's saying though. See, people gotta really think. That's why I like you. If you get our people to think, we can free ourselves. I love that quote because look, think about this. How was they able to do that? They was able to do that. Basically, what that's saying is now it applies to them. Why? It only can apply to them if they can attach themselves to abandoned estates.
But it
What you
also
think?
was, but after 1860, we think that's not 1828 wording. See, we think just because it was written we think it was written in 1828 is from that time. No, it's coming from after the Civil War. It's coming that definition. A lot of things that we read that we think, and they put these dates and time stamps on it or chronological dates on it, they're lying. A lot of that shit is from the 1900s.
Yes, sir.
It's not from then because Webster, Merriam-Webster was a black man. So it's like even with all of this stuff, a lot of stuff these people then went back and changed just so that they can convince us and convince other fucking people. And when we talk this stuff that we talk, these people think we're fucking crazy. Even amongst your own people, people think you crazy. But I gotta slide, fellas. I got something I gotta really do,
Yes,
man.
sir. Appreciate you. Peace to the God.
Oh man, I want to say one more thing real quick, man. Before I'm just say peace out to everybody. Just want to say one more thing about Kamala Harris. Can I say it? Should I save it, man? You gotta slide. You gotta slide. But let me just say this real quick, A1. Right? Kamala Harris don't share the so-called Aboriginal sister experience. The Aboriginal sisters used to get whooped by extension cord, and they go jump rope with the same extension cord. The Aboriginal sisters used to heat up the water with the iron and pour it inside the noodles, eat the noodles. The Aboriginal sisters used to be struggling in the trenches. This woman never struggled with you in the trenches. She don't know your struggle. She ain't you. She actually laugh and mock your struggle and point at you, look and tell you that you broke. You see what I'm saying? And she look at the brothers even worse because she tried to lock them all up. She had the final say so on locking them up. You feel me? And this go for any migrant, illegal, or foreigner that be mocking you, will be looking at you a certain way. You shouldn't be joining lock arms with these people. You damn sure shouldn't be voting them in as mayor, president, or whatever, governor, none of that stuff. They don't know our struggle. They ain't us. They never been us. They ain't got our blood. They just not us, period. You know what I'm saying? I can keep going, but A1 gotta slide. You know what I'm saying? My bad, A1.
No, that's all good, brother. Like I said, as long as for the people, and definitely everything is valid, especially at this point in time. We under a mental war, and you have to free yourself from that war. So with that being said, man, once again, peace to the gods, peace to the goddesses, peace to the Aborigines, North, South, Central, and the conjoined islands. Shout out to everybody that tuned into this bill. And with that being said, man, enjoy the rest of your day, man, to the gods and the goddesses. With that being said, I'm out of here. Peace.